Hello, everyone. How are we? Welcome along to Drafts and Crafts, part of the FM Playoffs weekend. Hope you're well. If you've not watched this show before, this is a light-hearted look at the draft that we took place in yesterday. We're going to go through the teams. We're going to talk to the managers. We're going to have a bit of insight, potentially into tactics and stuff, and we're going to do it after a little couple of ales just to get everyone a little bit nice on a Friday night. I am joined not only by myself, Tony, of course, I'm the host. I am joined by a panel of esteemed Football Manager content creators, and we're going to go through them right now. Look at that. Everyone's waving along. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We're going to start to my, now I'm going to get my bearings right here. I'm going to start to this side here.
Is that me? Is that me?
You, yeah.
That's me,
this
yeah.
is the worst Brady Bunch photograph you've ever seen.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
So,
yeah, brilliant. So
starting here,
me.
we're going to introduce Jebaru.
No, me.
Say hello, Jebaru.
Yeah, hello, how are we?
Very good.
I'm quite looking forward to this. I get to get drunk and not host and things like that, or technically not host, but shh. But we'll find out later. Do I throw down below me now, or do I throw?
Do that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to throw it down below. I'm just going to stomp it down.
Catch it.
Ogden. Yeah, catch it, Ogden.
It gets better for me on outlets. Did I call him Mark? Is that the right sport? How's it going? Glad to be here. I feel like it's a travesty I haven't had an Irish fella on this beforehand. If nothing, just to legitimize the drinking, surely.
I mean, we don't want to stereotype. We've already got a bloke from the Northeast hosting it. We can't do too much.
But isn't the stereotype two blokes? Like you stand to the one side the whole time. Where's Rich?
Well, we had to let Rich go. We've replaced him with Mr. Diz. Don't know if you've heard, but
I listened to that episode. Really. It wasn't very clear that it wasn't you getting replaced, to be honest with you.
Oh no, it's always clear that I'm eventually getting replaced, But yeah, this one was more of a hoodwinking, to be honest. Rich thought he was in, and I was like, "Oh, Diz fancies it, right? Get Diz in. Go on, Rich, out you go." But no, Owen, a pleasure to have you in. And do you want to
be here?
Shuffle it across?
I'll shuffle it across to this side. No.
No.
There we go. I was so confident.
You see, this is why I wasn't sure. This is why I wasn't sure.
I have a feeling I might be the answer to the first prediction with my third of a can drink. Yeah.
I was going to say. So absolute pleasure to be back again for another month. Always a pleasure to be part of the playoffs. And I like this. I like the more chilled out setting. I like not having to worry about drafting myself. Worrying about the crazy stipulation and picking order that you guys implemented the other night. So looking forward to taking these squads apart. I've already seen that Diz has responded to my tweet about slagging off his squad with a receipt that I actually DM'd him saying that it's actually okay. So this is a good start.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, Hood is Drafts and Craft royalty. He's obviously on the last show, so it's always nice to have you back in. And you're right. We should probably address the stipulation first, because we'll do it right at the top of the show, because after a few beers, it makes no sense, okay? So the stipulation was to celebrate 25 years of the greatest football tournament known to man and woman, Le Tournoi. You remember that? A glorified friendly competition that between England, France, Italy, and Brazil. It was essentially the Anglo-Italia Cup, really, but for international teams. There's been more prestigious Subbuteo tournaments than Le Tournoi.
I feel like you're under playing Brazil, who at the time had been to how many finals in a row of nearly everything they ever played in.
Yeah, but England won it.
Somebody's Scottish. Yeah, somebody's Scottish and bitter here. That's basically where it's sitting at the moment. You did have the interesting fact that France didn't win a game in the tournament and then won the World Cup the following year. You had Ronaldo emerging. He scored his first goal, like one of his first goals for Brazil. Scholes was replacing Gascoigne, but I think there's only one thing. There is one thing to talk about in that tournament, and that's the free kick.
I feel like Jeb researched 3 facts, got them all as quickly as possible, so you don't have to talk about it, because he knows more about than people who played the tournament.
Yeah, Tim Flowers can't regale any of those facts. He's just like,
I was going to say, please don't throw it to me.
I know Roberto Carlos scored a free kick, and that's it. And that was the thing. We challenged the panel to try and find 3 interesting facts that weren't the fact that Roberto Carlos scored a free kick, and none of us could find any. So that's literally how pointless that
I found
was.
3, and I know Owen's found 4 Bolton players that played in the tournament.
Yeah,
I think that's basically
my
what
go-to.
Yeah, I mean, again, without wanting to disparage you, Owen, if 4 Bolton players are playing in an international tournament, it's not an international tournament, really, is it? Let's be honest.
I will say
It
they
wasn't current
they're
Bolton
not
players. It was
they're not Bolton players at the time of playing. Like,
Yeah, they
It's
developed
like
the
20
internet.
years later. Yeah. So
yeah, I think Djorkaeff was playing for Inter Milan at the
Inter
time,
Milan, he was, yeah.
not Bolton Wanderers.
What I will say, it's not really a fact, but it might be the greatest attacking lineup of all time that Italy had. It was outrageous. It's Christian Vieri, Inzaghi, the good case, and not Federico. Wait, is Federico the older one?
No,
Federico was the
the
younger one.
Yeah, and I don't know who I hadn't said. Del Piero, I think was the third I didn't say. Between
Vieri,
Inzaghi,
Del Piero,
Vieri.
Inzaghi,
Yeah, which is
Chiesa.
outrageous.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's filth.
it was a bit outrageous, but weren't the majority of them offside for the entire tournament? And I'll probably
that's
say
just the one
definitely,
guy.
definitely Inzaghi. Yeah, definitely
Just Pipo.
Inzaghi and
Yeah.
yeah.
Dino Baggio as well. That Parma team. It was one of Cannavaro's first tournaments or like big extended runs with the Italian team as well. He's like 22 or 23. All of them are that age. Like, I think Del Piero was 22 or 23. He got a couple of goals against Brazil. It was like right in my wheelhouse of getting into football because there was, I think the game released just after this. There was a triple disc. The Championship Manager came in. He came in the old cardboard CD discs you get to flip out.
Yep.
And one was the German league, one was the Italian league, and one was the French league. And I loved Juventus in that saves. Like Del Piero was my guy around this time. And it was impossible to watch in Ireland, unfortunately. Pretty much.
Did you ever see the Benelux edition that they brought out, which was
Yeah.
Belgium
Yeah.
and Holland? It was just like they literally went, has anyone else got a league that we can fit on a disc? Like that'll do.
I think you used to be able to get it in like HMV, and it was always like a tenner. And it was just like
It was always HMV, exactly, or Golden Disc.
yeah.
as well.
It's HMV with the EDOS like collection, wasn't it? On that type of thing.
Welcome
With
to
the-
Peter K's set, everyone. Who remembers things?
There was nothing wrong with Benelux back then. Everyone wanted to play as Finidi George, the one player from Ajax that everyone seemed to like.
Hood, you're staying quite
Maybe there's
quiet
a few
about this
more.
because you literally you've got the hairline going. Like I mean, what
You're
were
saying-
you
you're
just
saying-
too young for this tournament, or
Yeah, I mean, I was 6 when this happened. I think France '98 was probably my first sort of real interaction with football, and then obviously the following season beyond that. Like, obviously, I know the names of people in the tournaments after Owen kindly shared a Wikipedia page with all the squads on it.
It's all natural to me. Shh.
But yeah, like, yeah, there's definitely players in here that I've heard of for sure. But memories of the game are nil. Obviously, I've seen the free kick, but beyond that, I'm struggling.
yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And to be honest, much more up to date than last month's 92-93 database for you, though. So there is that. We're getting there. We're getting there. Next month is the 0102. If you're interested,
there we
So-
go. Now we're talking.
Right. So the stipulation was, as we say, the tournament was England, Brazil, France, and Italy. And to celebrate the 25 years, we split the 20-player squads into 4 sections of 5 players. Okay. So the draft basically ran. You had your first 5 picks were England. Then when it went back round, you had 5 picks for Brazil. Then it spins round 5 picks for France, ending up 5 picks with Italy, £350 million budget, 20-player squad. Jebaru, what would have been your strategy? Because you hosted last night, so you understood it. I've actually had to take another 24 hours, even being on the panel, to get my head around it. How do you feel that is as a stipulation, as a draft pool?
I mean, rumor has it I came up with the stipulation and then Si added in the extra bits. It's horrible, isn't it? It's really horrible. and you had like varying extremes on it as well. You went from, I think Stinger, I think it worked out. He spent about £3 million in England. And then Limo drafted James Milner and Jordan Henderson for a total of 70 million. That's Limo, the Everton fan. Going for
James
two
Milner was his
Liverpool
first
midfielders.
pick as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly, at 25 million. It's it's a really difficult one to play because I think some of them did hold on to that money until they got to Italy, and it kind of backfired on one of them in particular. Definitely.
Yeah. Owen, would that
I
have been
think I get to
your
talk
thing?
about him later, which is such
Well,
a shame.
We're looking forward to that, to be honest. Owen, where would you have spent the majority of your money?
Oh, I don't know. I definitely would have got slated. I love my Italian midfielders, or versatile midfielders. So I'm a big Verratti guy. Myself and Alice like it. I know she hovered him. I think Stinger got him for a finish. We'll talk about it later. Everybody hates him apparently in every panel other than that. But the only time I win a game, Verratti's in my squad. So there's something. He's a superhuman as far as I'm concerned. He can make me win a game. But I'd probably spend it. I like the value you get in Italy. Even in defenders as well. It's just there's so much there.
And Hood, if you were, where would you want it to be? At the top of the draft, the bottom of the draft? Is this the only draft where the middle actually benefits you?
See, I'd actually argue that the middle is harder because I'm a guy who likes to prep. So like if you're in the middle, you have no idea what the people either end are going to do. Whereas at least you could be like, okay, well, when it ticks over to a different nationality, I know I'm picking, like if you were Dan, for instance, you're like, okay, I get the pick of Brazil. Or, do you know what I mean? Like if you're at one of the ends.
That's a great point, because he does actually get the first, we'll mention this a bit later down on the show. He actually gets the first pick as Brazil, but drafts Declan Rice, knowing that he can get Fabinho as number one pick.
Yeah. I know G1RFM was quite grateful for Fabinho landing in his lap. So yeah, it's one of those. As I said, I feel sorry for the people in the middle. If it were me, I'd have wanted to have been at either end, just so you can kind of have a little bit of prep. But even then, the prep only comes in when it turns to changing nationalities. To be honest, there's only so much you can do when everyone's picking from one nation at a time, especially with the amount of people that are drafting at once in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to be fair, it was a hell of a draft last night. I think we all had a lot of fun. We've got some of the competitors in the chat already. Bust the net with what is going to become the quote of the weekend, I believe. The camels are here for the panel. Now, if you haven't seen that clip that we've been posting out on social media today, there's a moment where I believe it's Stinger picks a goalkeeper that was definitely on a radar, and Bust the net threatens to smite him with all the flies around a camel's armpit or something along those lines. I've done the quote injustice, but we'll find.
I hope you're infected. Yeah, we'll post a tweet, but what's it? 1,000 the fleas of 1,000 camels infect your armpits. Yeah, we were not expecting it to end in the word armpits. To be fair,
there you go. Katie's put it in the chat there. It's gonna become a t-shirt slogan, I think, by the end of the month. So lovely to have him. Muzzer, of course, is in as well, so we'll get to Muzzer in a second. I think there was a lot of chat about him. Of course, Jem thoughts in, and Mr. Diz as well, who has just typed Roberto Carlos goal. So wonderful contribution from Mr. Diz.
Cheers, Diz.
Yeah, that's content for you guys.
A man of many words. He learned that from Zealand. He learned that from Zealand in his new.
He's actually learning
video
from the Sidemen. He's a big fan. I don't know if you're aware.
Hey, this is why we've got him on FMT for that sort of concise discussion. So speaking of concise discussions, let's have a look at some squads, shall we? So we'll go to the top of the panel. I believe we're going to go first of all to Steve, and we're going to look at Bust the Net. Now, a bit of a split thought on Bust the Net last night. Steve, I'll let you take it away. What are you thinking on your initial views of Daljit's side here?
My views of his team would probably change the more teams we see. Like, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, I don't mind it. I don't like either goalkeeper, which is my instant worry. I don't like either keeper. Looking at it, it feels like it's going to be a narrow sort of shape. Obviously, you're not seeing very many wingers there. And I'm using Benzema in a network save, and man does not enjoy the big moment. So there's some interesting picks in here. I like Matuidi for the legs that he can offer. I think Phil Foden has the ability to be a really good creative force. We've seen that with like Clates in the showdown, playing him as that sort of man behind the striker. I wonder if Zaza is going to take one of those penalties where he does about 400 steps and then just drills it over the bar, maybe for Daljit.
I think that's the most commented thing this week. It happened in the qualifier, it happened yesterday, and this happened again.
Also as well, Zaza taking a penalty for Daljit would just increase the length of time Daljit's on screen. So I think it's absolutely likely that would happen. It would just drag that game out to 45 minutes. I'm gonna put you on the spot here, and I know Daljit's in the chat, but his first pick was Phil Foden. Okay, we'll get to the goalkeepers in a second, right? But his first pick was Phil Foden. Now, I called it out. We had a bit of a sort of discussion between the staff before the weekend, and we asked for who was going to be our absolute belter pick and who was going to be our dud. Now, I went with Foden as my dud because I think unless he's in a very, very specific tactic, I've not seen the best of him. You mentioned Clates gets the best out of him in showdown. I agree, but I've also seen players really struggle with Foden and not get enough out when you look at some of the other options you could have for that kind of money. So yourself there, what are you seeing there that obviously that I'm not seeing? I suppose is the question.
I really like how creative Phil Foden can be. He offers a lot, and it's not only the ability to facilitate, it's he can score as well. Like if he has a chance, has a one-on-one, you'd kind of back him to score. Whereas certain players out of midfield, like if Bakayoko runs through for Dalgier, I'm not backing him to hit the target whatsoever. But like with Phil Foden, he has that in his locker. He can score, he can facilitate. I'm actually a big fan of the Foden pick.
Okay, interesting. Jebaru, talk to me about these goalkeepers then. Groy?
Yeah, I'm not sure. My favourite part is Cam's just posted it in the chat, and I saw this earlier, and I was going to bring it up. Dalgit's feedback at 12 o'clock this afternoon was, I could have done a lot better. So I think he might have suffered from that little draft tiredness that he gets, obviously being over in Singapore. We're reaching 3, 4, 5 a.m. by the time we're getting some of those picks.
Is that the name of the spirit he drinks? The draft
yeah,
tired?
Exactly. Maybe it is, yeah. I mean, just to confirm, that is Douglas Luiz, not David Luiz. I mean, I think we did double check on that last time. Like you said, the goalkeepers... Butland,
that makes it worse for me.
He's got a few 14s, but there's nothing. Yeah, it's worry. But I think as Stick pointed out yesterday, goalkeepers don't matter to bust the net, and he thinks they don't matter in the engine. He might soon pay for that with some of the attacking lineups that are in there. I mean, I'm not sure about Benzema either. I'm still like, he's got players that he needs to play a certain way to get the best out of them. Benzema and Foden are probably those ones as well. But if anyone can, this man probably drafts more than anybody else in the pool. And he does the crazy stipulations. Even he said this one was crazy, though. So there we are.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you've got someone like Dalgic sort of like ticking over it, you know the brain's working. Owen, from what we've seen so far of Dalgic, and he's had an up and down record in the playoffs as well. He struggled it initially, and then he has managed to find his way a little bit. Where do you see him going with this squad? Is he going deep, or is he going to struggle? Do you think? And if he is going to struggle, where? Or if he's going to excel, what's going to be the key?
Well, my first takeaway was it looked in this draft, even with the Foden pick, it's like, well, it's Dalgic, isn't it? He's trying to do something funny, clever, but he thinks will work. And I wasn't sure about it. There's a lot of suspect picks in there. That Benzema, it's tough to get him working, different things. But then I saw the name Rob Holding, who's played for Bolton, and I'm on board. He's going deep, semi-finals. No, like there's a couple of people there that are solid. Like I like Pellegrini, I like Lodi. For the price he is, genuinely as a maybe a third choice or the second choice centre under, Holding isn't bad. I am with Bust the net. I don't think keepers matter in the engine, but I think they matter more than Butland. You know, I think he'll struggle. I think his best bet, like he could have done better. He's aiming to scrape out of the groups, and then it's a lottery after that. But I don't think it goes.
I think you could be right, Tomorrow's Classic K. He's put in the chat there. Luca Pellegrini, walking red card? ?
I'm a Bolton fan, so that's why I like him.
He's not the first choice left back though, is he? Pellegrini, I wouldn't have said.
Lodi, probably Lodi, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I like his two centre backs. Sorry, Jeb. I like his two centre backs. I think they're both quite. Felipe, if it's the same one that I usually draft, the guy from Atletico, I think he is. I think he's a silent good player, and I think he could be a threat from set pieces. Actually, both of them.
Didn't know silent was. You never pick argues with officials. You want silent players.
Yeah, you also as well touched upon if that's the same Brazilian player with that name. That might come up a bit later on as we go through some of these draft pools to see did an individual draft the right person with that name. Owen, we're going to hang to you now, and we're going to look at a debutant for the playoffs, G Muzzer.
Big Muzz.
Now let's have a little look at his squad, shall we? Because there was a lot of buzz about that last night. Just wait for that to pop up on screen.
So I'm a big Muzza fan. He's big in Limo's community. I played FIFA clubs. I'm just a stand-up guy outside of that. Unlike all these other pricks in this group. No,
God.
sorry, I
Wow.
just said that I realized how it sounded, so I committed to it.
Yeah.
When you talk about busting it, might be the person who drafts the most in this group. If it isn't him, it's Muzza. Muzza has run a draft yesterday to practice. He did one. He does his community one tonight. He's always in busting nets. He's always in limos, and again, he's seen all these madcap stipulations. He also is, you often see people are a strength of drafting or tactics. I think he's very good at drafting and quite good at tactics. Maybe not a big tactics guy, but he has enough to switch it up if he needs to. It's a solid draft overall. Great goalkeeper in Ramsdale. Big fan of that. Fullbacks are good with Hernandez and Emerson Royal. Not sure about the centre backs. I like Bremer. Godfrey, he doesn't have two commanding centre backs, but he's all these solid picks. He has Zaniolo. He has Bruno Enrique, assuming it's the right one and not one of the 90 other ones. Excuse me. He'll have to get Kylian Mbappe working, but he has destroyed me with Kylian Mbappe before, so there's that. And he has Tammy Abraham that even I can get working. So I think apart from his spine is probably his weakest part, the middle of the park and the defenders, but they're not. It's not that they're weak. It's just he's got drafted great everywhere else, I think. So I think he's at the top end of the table. We push into the later rounds,
Yeah, I think you're probably right, to be honest. Like I said, there was a lot of love for it. Hood, what would you see with this? Are you feeling where this is going? I mean, do you agree with Owen that he's got a weak spine?
To a point, I definitely agree with that. I kind of echo what Owen said there. Bremer is a player that I like, but I don't think he's a starting centre back for me. Whether or not he's going to play Hernandez instead, and who knows what he's going to do. But I used to always think that I would build a team defenders first, and now I'm starting to change that philosophy and go forwards first. And to have a front two of Mbappe and Tammy Abraham, it's not bad, is it? We've seen people struggle with Mbappe before. I know Stingers sometimes had a difficulty getting something out of Tammy Abraham. He creates a lot of chances, but sometimes if he's not feeling it, Abraham will not score goals. Same with Mbappe, I guess. If he gets these two firing throughout the course of the competition, we know how it works with the dynamic and how the morale and stuff plays a part in this. Obviously not on the draft mode in a real database. So I think if he gets the forwards going, this is going to be a problem for everybody that he's going to come up against.
I think you make a really good point. I mean, I used Abraham in the last draft I was in, and I couldn't get him going. And I thought he was going to be absolutely on fire for me. Mbappe, again, you say we've seen people absolutely tear up with him. We've seen him flop so many times. We joked last night that he actually drafted Mbappe to save other people having to draft Mbappe, more of a safety pick, to be honest. So
Stinger would have.
Yeah.
Stinger loves an Mbappe draft pick.
So we thought that was going to be where we're going. Jebaru, anything more you can say? I mean, let's say you were in the draft last night, and I think that overall, I think you were pretty happy with this, weren't you?
Yeah, I was reasonably happy. I mean, it's those actually probably last 5 players that stand out to me more than anyone else. Zaniolo is a massive pick for Muzza, like every single time. The guy's got an emote of him in his chat that comes up when he scores. He scored a few goals the other night. Bruno Henrique is going to be really good on the support and the stuff that side. Thuram, 6'7" of big French forward who can play out wide as well. You can use him as a wide target man. There's a lot of versatility there. And I'm going to say it, Tammy Abraham, Kylian Mbappe, and I absolutely hate him, but 2001, Michael Owen, Emil Heskey. That's what you've got, that partnership right there.
You're being very harsh on Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm saying it because
Heskey was pretty good in 2001.
Yeah,
Clip
exactly.
that chat, clip it, and we'll revisit that at the end of Sunday night. That's a statement and a half, to be honest. That's up there with the with Daljit's comment, to be honest. So all right, hold that
English
thought.
comparisons I've ever heard. The most English comparison I've ever heard.
It's a little.
It's actually a
bit like
Liverpool
Niall
comparison,
Quinn.
actually, as well. Yeah,
Niall
Quinn and Kevin
Robbie
Phillips.
Keane.
Right, Kid and Robbie Keane, let's go. I'm on board.
Right, Jebaru, get yourself a little drink. What are you drinking, by the way, Jebaru? We haven't actually introduced our beers yet.
I am drinking from the tropics from Northern Monk. It's a tropical hazy. It's basically lilt. So yeah, exactly.
Taking a little sort of soiree from last month where we hit the hooch. I've gone different old school. I've gone Northern old school tonight. I've gone double Maxim, and I've also got a couple of Jaipurs on the go. So got because I do like an IPA. Owen, where's your tipple at?
Well, I took crafting very literally, and I went for Iron thickness yarn and some knitting needles. What I'm actually drinking is I'm playing Treaty United Save, so Treaty City Brewery. The city I live in is called the Treaty City, so it's Outcast IPA. Lovely, really.
Shout out to the Outcast IPA, awesome work. Yeah. And Hood, obviously you've had the most notice from everybody because you were invited straight back to the panel literally as Drafts and Crafts finished last month. So what's in your bag of cans? The cultured man that you are.
Considering you guys have said, names that people may not be familiar with, I've gone the opposite direction and gone for something that I think everyone will know and not really love.
Arguably, it's the perfect Le Tournois beer. It's English hooliganism at its finest. So there we are.
I mean, at some point I will make an exit to stage right and come back in a wife beater if you prefer.
Okay, fantastic. I was going to say I can't wait for you to stomp on Owen halfway through the next next round of teams.
It would have been great if you could have come in with sunburn as well. That would have been perfect. just to really settle everyone down to go. It's fine. I drink Stella a lot. I can be out in the sun all day. It's fine.
I can handle it, boys. I don't need any sun cream. It's okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So it's time for Jebaru to take the lead now. And one of the most entertaining people we have on stream, we love her, FM girl. Jebaru, talk me through it.
It was a roller coaster, wasn't it? I mean, Stick's not here because he's not recovered. He's that angry about it. He stormed off the set last night. He just didn't want to talk to anyone about it. He spent 2 hours advising who she should pick. Get Reece James as your first choice. So who'd she pick? Trent Alexander-Arnold. So there we go. That works. That wasn't a bad first. It's not a bad first pick. I'd argue he does bits and everything that way. I mean, his defending's a little bit questionable, but then after that, it's a really mixed bag. There's a couple of centre backs in there that are okay. There's a couple of forwards in there that are okay. Vinicius is there too. It's pretty bad, isn't it? I'm looking at it again. It's the other Rafinha, so it's the other Pellegrini, Thomas Lemar, Martial. Wait, stop. Forget everything. Alice is going to win. She drafted Andy Carroll. Exactly. Andy Carroll has been drafted. Come on, big shout out to Andy Carroll, the greatest English forward ever.
No,
she's obviously going to win. And Dan Byrne as well, who lives around the corner from Super Penguin. Yes, so there we are. And the Andy Carroll, the emotes are in the chat as well. Fantastic.
There was a moment during the draft, Owen, and I don't know if you saw it, where Alice was hovering over Tomori at centre half, and I was in the chat, and I was going, Tomori's brilliant. If Alice plays wide centre back, she wants someone pacey. Tomori's absolutely bang on. If she looks at someone like Joe Gomez, for example, that's a waste of a pick. Bang, Joe Gomez is in. Right, okay, let's see what the plan is now. Owen, talk to me about this.
So I was away and traveling for the draft yesterday, but every so often I had a chance to kind of dip into the stream. I never saw Alice pick, but I heard all about Alice's pick because every time I got someone else's pick, Stick was still giving out about her previous pick. I love the draft, but not because I think it's going to do any damage. Like, I love the idea that she's going to try and attempt to get out of a group with Martial, Carroll, Dele Alli, Dan Byrne, probably also. Well, Dan Byrne mightn't start. I mean, is she going to start Buffon in goals? I don't know. It is. She's drafted people that are close to my heart because they used to be really good for a season 3 or 4 FMs ago, or they were brilliant 15 years ago. It's one or the other. Like, it's, It's definitely a heart, not heads draft. There's an Irish guy called Patrick in the middle of it for whatever reason. Like, it's just mental.
It's just one Patrick. It's a Patrick
Yeah.
who's playing in the
Yeah.
middle. So.
Anyone will do.
Rich Owens put in the chat there that she didn't draft Verratti, so it's a vast improvement on last time. So she got into that situation, Hood, where she had a lot of money going into Italy. I mean, are you shaking your head? Are you worried? How worried are you? Or is Alice a tactical genius, and this is throwing everyone off the scent?
I hate all of it.
Like
literally.
Give us something. Give us something.
It's bad that I think, obviously, Rich has just mentioned Verratti. I think Verratti makes this team better. Like, it's as if Alice took a short list of players that I hate and I think are awful in draft mode and just put them all together. I wish her luck. That's all I'm going to say. I know her games are usually crazy and high scoring, and I think that might be the case. But previously, she's had good strike forces, and I'm just not seeing it. I don't know how you can go into a draft and come out with this team.
I love the irony that there's a gentleman called Nomadic Striker in the chat, and he's put, if she's going strikerless, she might be all right. So I guess if she went strikerless, she wouldn't have to play Vinicius and Anthony Martial up front. But it's
but then where do you play Andy Carroll though?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless he's playing,
you can play him anywhere. You can play him anywhere. Actually, Andy Carroll could actually just play in net, and he'd be better than Buffon.
And Andy Carroll is libero on attack. What? Mark my words, right? It's gonna be brilliant. Like, you know what? It's gonna be entertaining. Whatever happens, it's gonna be entertaining.
Yeah.
And she's the underdog. She's always got that underdog mentality. She's gonna battle. She's gonna fight. And yeah, I wish her well. I wish her well. Someone that we think some people wish well, some people don't wish well. Hood told us about the gaffer. Mozza or Wazza, as we think he is there without the cap. Of course, his evil twin.
Well, he's told me to be nice about his team. So I'll try my best.
Your fee depends on it.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll start off by, which is always a worry for me, that he's only got one keeper. Now, I've never gone into a draft where I've needed to use my second keeper, and it's the fear that always makes me draft a second keeper. Defense isn't the most mobile, I would say. He's got a lot of. I think I saw someone mention it somewhere that he's drafted James Ward-Prowse and a lot of big fellas who can get involved on set pieces. With maybe Chiesa as an outball if he needs it. I think Luca's a bit optimistic. Maybe if we were drafting a team and then said, okay, we're going to simulate 5 years and then go. Although Giroud would then be an absolute liability. Yeah, I don't mind this team. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's the worst one that I've seen, having just commented on Alice's. I think he could be a danger off of set pieces, for sure.
Set pieces, is that all he's got, Jebaru?
He's gone for something very similar to what he had in 92-93. Giroud is Niall Quinn. Belotti, I can't remember.
As I said,
well,
it's ever said before.
Quinn is alive
exactly.
with that comparison.
No,
He's
exactly.
over the moon.
Yeah, James Ward-Prowse is his Thomas Hassler, but I don't know, like Ward-Prowse other than set pieces, especially since updates have happened, he's gone backwards a little bit in the actual the gameplay engine. The defense, I'm not sure about as well. Mancini, Cody, Dyer. There's not a lot of pace there. I mean, Mancini may have a little bit, but it's not great. And like I said, one keeper is a big risk. I'm looking at it after sitting down and seeing it yesterday, and it's changed a bit how I'm thinking about this squad. He's going for this one tactic. He hasn't got a plan B, and that's where he might trip over. He hasn't got a plan B here. It's lump it to the big lad and hope for the best. Because Belotti's not a pacey forward. He's going to trug along. I heard that on The Athletic today, actually. There's other podcasts
are available.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. but there we are. Yeah, I've changed my mind on this, actually.
Okay, fair enough. That's interesting. Owen, have you changed your mind, or are you still very much looking at Olivier Giroud in a Niall Quinn inspired light now?
Well, no, even before the Niall Quinn inspired light, I'm all in on this draft. I don't think it's a perfect draft, but I can see what the game plan is. Plan? I might have won that. Who's the first to get drunk? Vote. I can see what the game plan is. To me, it's going to have 5 at the back. The question is whether he goes 3 centre midfielders or he plays someone out wide with 1 striker. What way he's going to go? But he's got Trippier and Ismaili who have 17. I think Ismaili might even have 18 in crossing. So guys are going to get up the line, cross into the box for Giroud to win a header. Maybe even Luca could start. Chiesa's there to play out wide, whip it in. He's got free kick takers. He's Madison as a backup free kick taker over Ward-Prowse. He has legs in Rabiot. I quite like it. The defense is a risk, but I'm kind of subscribing to I'm coming around to the meta of score more goals in the other team, because in draft your defenders are going to miss headers anyway and make mistakes. So in my predictions, like I've gone big on Mazza.
It's a decent shout to him. He's also got Trippier as well, who can hit a free kick as well.
Yeah.
So he does have another option there. I mean, for me, he got to the final last time out. You got to think that. I mean, I know we always joke about Mozza and his PvP record. He would say himself, coming into the last month, he's been struggling, but something clicked with him. Has he just stumbled across a tactic that works and he's now drafted specifically for that tactic going forward? And I mean, Hood, do you think that's the situation? He has the system and he goes, right, they're my guys and I'm drafting for that system, and he's gone with his head this time?
As a man who has only ever played one system, yes, I think that's a good way to go. I think, if it works in the match engine, there's not been an update, you've had the success with it, stick with it. Why not?
I was about to say, he got out the groups in the last game, and he only went out.
I've done that and gone and won it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, he got out the groups in the last game. He won the semi-final after added time and then extra time. I don't know if he's going to have that same type of luck this time around.
Yeah, but Gareth Southgate got to a final with that sort of form, so.
And I have started Southgate's good name slandered here. Come on, we're better than this.
Oh God, we're not starting that debate, are we?
Yeah, no, I was going to say. Oh, look, the chat's full of 1,000 people with their opinion now. Well done.
Hello, new followers.
Exactly.
I mean,
Jock McJock, welcome in. Yeah, your opinion's very. You think Southgate's doing a great job? Excellent. Should be given a 25-year contract. I agree. Things are happening in the chat. Shout out, by the way, to Cam, who started a poll for who's got the best squad we've seen so far. So we'll just let that trundle on in. Owen, do you want to get your point out while these results are coming through? Sorry.
Who's voted for Alice? Who has voted for Alice?
Not even Alice voted for Alice. I'm backing Alice to get out of the group. Come on, the WP, massive. I think Mazza, he's a 30% win ratio in playoffs, and he's been in all of them. He's found something that worked once, and you cling to it. As a man who's come out of a less than 30% win ratio, you get a win, you're like, this is my tactic until it breaks. So I think that's what he's done, and it's the right thing to do, I think.
I mean, I am not one to back anybody who has had one tournament's worth of success and then go, they've suddenly changed and they're better. I mean, that's not been my stance at all with FM22. So at the minute, Muzza is winning. We'll just sort of deviate slightly off that. Busternet, nobody's voted for Busternet at all. Even Daljit's given up on it on his own squad. It looks like, as we're just about to finish, do this live, Muzza has won with the 58% of the votes, FM Girl 25% of the votes, Mozza 17%, and nobody for Busternet. So 25% of our viewership think that Alice's squad is better than Daljit's, and Hood said that Alice essentially had a breakdown. So
I look forward to being clipped on Sunday, Alice. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't think she's had a breakdown. It's the most Alice draft I've ever seen, this one. Pretty much.
Yeah.
She always gets it working, though.
As I said, her games are entertaining, and will have lots of goals in them.
She's a Leeds United of drafting.
Right, we are going to change it up. We've got a couple more to go through, then we've got a bit of an announcement to go for. So, Owen, talk to me about one of our potentially more esteemed drafters, Sweet left foot. What do we think?
In a sentence, it's just sweet left foot doing sweet left foot things. That has positives and negatives. When I've watched Mike draft, I didn't get to watch the draft yesterday, but I can tell by this pick that something goes against him. He's like, he's got a plan. I'm going to pick these 3 people. Oh, look, there's other people picking people. This has changed my plan. Slight bit of panic and pressure sets in. So looking at the squad, that's what I think has kind of come in. It's all over the shop, and there's a lot of like risky players. His keeper, Messier, is a risk. Captain of Fraud FC, Kimpembe, loves to rush 10 yards forward and miss a header. I've drafted him like twice.
It's a good shout. It's a good shout.
At the start of the cycle, I drafted him twice. I really liked him in real life, and he just let me down. Then February or March, like, I'll give him another chance. No, every game, like he lasts two games of a draft, and I drop him every time I've drafted him. But then, like, he's got some big wins in there. He's got Reece James. He's got Payet, who, like, on his own with set pieces can get you into a next round. Theo Hernandez is great for creating chances. Strikers are very sus. I'm assuming D Costa is Diego Costa, which is Solanke.
I think it is.
No, it's
Diego
Douglas.
Costa.
Douglas. It's Douglas
Okay.
Costa. Yeah.
That's not so bad.
That's probably worse, isn't it? No.
Well, what is worse, Hud, is Dominic Solanke. And I'm going out on this, right? Dominic Solanke has had one good tournament that Zealand has managed. Nobody else picks Dominic Solanke for anything. And if they do, it's because their family are Dominic Solanke's family.
No, there's no way Dominic Solanke's ma picks Dominic Solanke.
Exactly.
She's seen him play more than anyone.
Even Dominic Solanke's mum goes, we're going to go strikers, right? We're going to go strikers.
It's like he's built a team and gone, what are the people at the top of the pitch supposed to be doing? Yeah, let's auto pick. It's like he's gone, okay, I'll pick my keeper, I'll pick my defense, I'll pick my midfield, finish drafting. Yeah. To me, I love his fullback options. Like we've seen Mike play 5 at the back previously. So Reece James, Theo Hernandez, brilliant. Big fans of those. I echo Owen's thoughts about Kimpembe. He is very much on the shit list as well.
It's more aggressive than mine.
Yeah. Sorry, the Stella's kicking in, guys. Sorry, I can't help it.
And another thing.
Yeah, it's just one of those. I'm wondering where the goals are going to come from. I feel like he's going to create a lot of opportunities, and then no one's going to be there to score.
And one question I'm going to ask before I move into Jebaru, I'm going to ask you this one, Hud. So he's got Reece James. Now, he went the pick after Alice. Alice got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, Stick was shouting for Reece. You and I, we love a pacey right back, don't we? We love a pacey right wing back.
We do.
Reece James is top of both of our lists since the update bump. I mean, was Mike laughing his way to the bank once he realised that Trent had gone, or is Trent still worth a shout?
No, Trent's a fraud. I don't like Trent in draft mode. For me, if obviously, Tony, you've brought it up. You and I basically look for the same right backs each time, which are either Reece James or Hakimi. For me, I think if you've picked Trent over Reece James, you're either a Liverpool fan or you've gone for name. I think in game, Reece James is head and shoulders clear at right back, or if as I think Mike's going to play him right wing back, brilliant with his 18 crossing. Again, it's like we touched on it with Moz's team, the fullbacks or the wing backs that have good delivery. Mike's got it here as well.
Jebaru, question
to
now.
Me as
is he possibly going to play wingers at wing back instead and change things around?
Maybe. I'm sorry, you come to me as I'm pouring a jam roly-poly beer.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
It's alarmingly red, but there we are. Anyway,
that's what she said.
I'm too busy getting involved. Oh my god!
So this is the point of terms. This is the point.
Yeah. So I was in.
Steve's already gone.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just that's it, guys. I'll see you later. Right.
Clip this.
So yeah, I was in Mike's chat this morning actually because I had 2 questions to ask him. First one: has he drafted it based on FIFA Ultimate Team in 2021. Because Kimpembe, Diego Carlos, Reece James, Henry all had really good cards. Rafinha, Savanier, Solanke as well, actually. Yeah, Costa probably had one. Yeah, the Ox had one as well. And then the other question was, why did you draft Oxlade-Chamberlain? Because his name's that long, it breaks my graphics program. So just about fixed it here anyway. But I actually quite like this team. I think Dimitri Payet, I know Rich Owens is in the chat. Dimitri Payet is superb as an attacking midfielder in this match engine. Skamaka, he can play as a big man up front. Solanke, he can do bits. Sorry, I'm on the Solanke train a little bit with it, but you've got to play him correctly. And like I said, Kimpembe and Diego Carlos, I think they can cover for each other, and I think that's where that one will sit. Reece James, like you said, can play centre back, but he does have Henry and Teo Hernandez as well. And also, my favourite part about when he was looking over his team, he looked at M. Antonio and thought he'd somehow got Mikel Antonio into his side and was unsure of how that had happened. But then he realised who it was, so there we are.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't have a Jamaican passport anymore and became a Brazilian.
No, exactly.
Wrong player. I think...
Sorry, do you sub or mod for Mike or something? 'Cause that seemed very polite, Jeb, which I'm just not used to from you, to be honest, but...
I was polite about his draft last night, and actually looking at it again, I'm still reasonably polite about it. It's a solid squad. The only questions I'd have is Gelson going to get him out of jail when Mellier's rubbish?
Hey, I've clipped that as well. There's another joke in it.
See, but like I've seen drafts where RDF's gone, no, Donnarumma, you're in the bin. Meslier, come on, let's play. And I think he won his wasted possession group with Meslier in goal after dropping Donnarumma. So
yeah, but that's an inferior tournament. So
I've seen worse keepers so far tonight. Is all I'm going to say.
We can put a good word in with Benji for you over here if you want, Jeb.
I like Meslier. I think Meslier is an alright goalkeeper. He's certainly better than Jack Butland, which is what might be on the option for Bust the Net, to be honest. We've got Andrew, the Statsman. Andrew is in the chat. Says sweet left foot showdown duality from league winner to elimination playoff. Ooh, bringing out the beer fear for Mike there, and Classic Katie as well is saying that it's bizarre. We're talking about this Trent and Reece James issue that happened. She says it was bizarre because Alice was very much seemed like she was briefed to take Trent first, but that's not what Stick reckons. Stick was adamant it was Reece's pieces all the way through.
Trent can hit a free kick. That's that is the separator from them. Like, he has comparable stats. Maybe not as good as Reece, but like
attributes.
Oh, whatever.
Oh no!
Get out of it, gatekeeper.
So we've already started the Southgate debate, and now we're bringing in stats versus attributes. So good.
Right.
We're really trying to piss off everyone in the community.
Yeah, there we are.
Give me my player preferred moves over trades.
Hey, do we want?
I've heard Sweet Left Foot. I've heard Sweet Left Foot uses downloaded tactics. I'm just saying.
There's no way, Mike. No.
We will get to that later on. Right. What we're going to do? We're going to talk Mr. Entertainment now, though, and then we're going to do the groups. So, Mr. Entertainment, Mr. Diz, Jebaru, talk to me about my podcast co-host. Let me know what you think.
So, I spent the majority of today, I was quite busy with work, but I always have podcasts on in the background. I listened to his excellent scouting centre of Zealand. I mean, if you've not watched it, if you are a content creator, go and check that out. Zealand lays everything on the table, and you understand why he's as successful as what he does. And also, Diz gets all the right answers out of him. He's brilliant. I've even dropped him a couple of compliments across the way. And that's where my compliments end for Mr. Diz, because this is dreadful. This is really dreadful. He saved up his money for Italy, and then he, as I said yesterday to my pun, he went Caputo in Italy. Donnarumma, the fraud. Who else was there? Spinazzola. Spinazzola is going to last about one game. The midfield. Jude Bellingham and Camavinga would be a really good midfield pairing in about 3-4 years. Casemiro's a red card. Mark Noble might come in to replace him. He's a red card. Jared Bowen, yeah, all right. Moussa Dembele, all right. Tavernier, okay. but there's no one that really stands out. I mean, he's even got Bonucci in there as well. He did spend a lot of money on Bonucci, but just because he had a lot of money left. Raspadori, there's a few players you can compliment, but I honestly can't see how we get them going. And with Mr. Diz, I think he's made one quarter-final in the playoffs before. I don't think he'll get near it this time.
I mean, is there anything left to pick apart here, Owen, or has Jeveru taken the steel chair and ended it?
He listed through a lot of people and slated all the picks. I don't know that he actually slated Jared Bowen, who I also am not a fan of, so I'll add that. But I do like. I actually don't mind his centre midfield too much. Like, I'm a big fan of Casemiro. I think he does a lot to. If you talk about it in FM terms, he stops highlights, and he starts a lot. When you see a highlight start for the opposition, you see, oh no, they're going to score. You get one of those counter attacks. It's always Casemiro picking it up, playing the ball over the top. So that's a silver lining. I question where the goals would come from for this. But yeah, pretty much what Jeb said. Like, Donnarumma is not it. I love Spinazzola. I've drafted him twice. He has not made it through the first game because of his injury proneness, so I've given up on him. I don't know. Tavernier is good. There you go. That's it, really. Poor Diz.
Poor Diz. Steve, have you got anything else to this?
See, now, when I quote tweeted the tweet that we were going live, I said, everyone grab a beer and let's take the mick out of Diz's squad. And then he very, very quickly outed me for messaging him on Discord saying, I actually think his squad's all right. Like, I know you guys aren't overly complimentary about Donnarumma. I'm a very big fan. I think go and ask Stick Piano what he thinks of Donnarumma is all I'm going to say. Because when we took on, me and GYR took on Stick and SNG in the World Heavyweight Tag Team title match that we had, Stick was cursing Donnarumma because he played 2 games and got over an 8 in both. So you've touched on some injury issues, which I think his team has in spades. I mean, you've not touched on Titi, who's made out of glass. Spinazzola's made out of quavers. Like the
Garibaldi biscuits, actually. Sorry, you need to get this right.
Quavers is great because he's tasty. Melts away.
I agree with Owen as well. Again, like, I like Casemiro, but he's a B-Tech Fabinho. I know Fabinho wasn't there when Diz was picking, but like, I think Camavinga's actually pretty good value in this draft pool. I like Jared Bowen as well. I think he could be a little bit of a sleeper. I will say I have tried the strike partnership of Raspadori and Caputo before in the playoffs. It did not go well. So.
Okay, well, it sounds like Diz has got quite a bit to go for. You know what, Diz? I'm going to back you up here, mate. I'm going to try and find a silver lining here for you. I think I said that for me, Anthony, I thought would be a little sleeper pick. I thought he might be a nice little bargain. He's about 15 million to 40 million or something, maybe. Pacey enough out wide. I think I like Tavernier. I think, again, we mentioned again, it was a budget pick. I think he's quite versatile. He gives you a decent amount of right back, particularly when obviously the better ones are gone. Who'd have thought there's me looking at right backs. Spinazzola, I would have loved Spinazzola to not be made out of Perspex, or as Rich Owen says, Garibaldi biscuits, trademark there. Donnarumma, I've never really used, so I don't comment on Donnarumma. I think he hit or miss. I know some people love him, some people hate him. I want this to work. I want this to work for Diz, and then I see that he's got Mark Noble in there, and I wonder what on earth Mark Noble is going to bring, unless at the end of the tournament there's a testimonial match. And Mark Noble has to play.
Mark Noble's playing in Soccer Aid on Sunday, and he's probably going to have a really good time there, but he's not going to have a good time in this draft. That's the way it's going to be. And I think Katie's raised it. Bonucci's got 13 tackling, and he's a centre back. I mean, that's League One level, if that. But
Bonucci's another one on my list. If I could put a Calamity centre-back partnership together, it would be Bonucci and Kimpembe. So I will
like a buddy cop movie. Bonucci and Kimpembe.
I will say, I think Dembele is going to surprise a few people for Diz this weekend. I like Dembele.
Yeah. All right. So we're all Team Diz then, is what we're essentially saying.
There's two guys who are honest and two guys, one who's been on the scouting center and the other one who's trying desperately to get on it. It sounds like.
Hey,
I've been.
They've both been on it.
Oh,
They've both been on it.
they've both been.
Wait a
Okay,
minute,
fair enough.
I wasn't trying to get on it. I think I made that quite clear.
Oh no, I didn't realize who'd have been on it. I missed that. Sorry.
I'm very complimentary of Hood's episode as well. A fantastic episode. So yeah, follow the Scouting Center as well, by the way. Everyone in the chat. Diz does some wonderful, wonderful work when not drafting.
Way better than draft.
So, although he did do it remotely, so potentially he had Wi-Fi issues. I don't know. It's going to be fine, Diz. It's going to be fine.
Oh, no, pick is better than this draft, man.
Shall we change it up a little bit? Shall we look at some groups, because we need the big reveal, really, to be honest? Jebru, do you have any? Can you pull them up on the screen, or shall I just read them out?
I can do that for you. I can do that for. I thought you were going to do it with no hands. Go on, do it with no hands.
Oh, sorry, I'll do it because I'm driving.
Oh wow, that's amazing, Tony. Look at that.
Wonderful stuff. Rich Owens as well. Big shout, of course, to Rich Owens. You haven't lost your job, mate. You're still very much FMT royalty. So this is where we are. Group A: Stinger, Mozza, Viking Dan, Goofy Geord, FM Girl, G Muzzer, which means Group B: Bust the Net, GYR, Curty, Limo, Mr. Diz, and Sweet Left Foot. Owen, I can see you're typing away. Evening, G Knudsen, by the way, who's raided in. Welcome in. Appreciate the raid. We're just explaining what's going on for the playoffs this weekend whilst having a couple of drinks. The show may change as we're going on. Grab yourselves a little seat on the sofa. We're just doing the group announcements. Owen, talk to me about these groups. Let's go Group A first of all. We've seen some of the squads in Group A without knowing the full picture. Are you worried for Alice? Are you worried for Mozza? Do you think that Mozza's got it wrapped up? And then we'll have a quick look at Statman Andrews' odds that he's got for this group. Let me know your initial thought here.
I'm not fully au fait with the English schooling system, but I'm pretty sure set 8 isn't a good thing, and it feels like Group B is definitely set 8 in this draft. Feels like it's one very, very strong group of this, and one that is going to be wild to watch. It could be a coin toss all day. Like all of my top 3 strongest drafts, maybe top 4 strongest drafts, are in Group A. Definitely FM Girl. I said she always seems to rattle a qualification out of her groups. She's up against it in that group. Like we've talked about Mozza. I'm all in on his draft. We saw G Muzza's. He's got a great draft. A couple of the other ones in there, we'll talk about them later, are very good. I'd be delighted if people who aren't overly thrilled about their drafts, like Daljeet, who's like, I could have done better. He'll look at some of his competitors and how their drafts went and think, I might get to a knockout stage here. So it's interesting. It's when you look at a Champions League group in your FM game and you go, oh, I want that one with the Greek team, the Portuguese team, and the Belgium team, and you end up with Inter Milan, whoever came second in France, and Arsenal all of a sudden. Like it's so chalk and cheese in terms of how the draft went, I think.
Steve, you've already had your hand in your mouth and your head in your hands. I'm presuming that's for Group B by any chance, is it?
I mean, you say Group A is kind of a group of death, which I kind of, to a point, think it is. You know, your current champion, obviously Stinger didn't play in last month, but was a beaten finalist the month before. Goofy Geord, Jack knows his way around the draft. Obviously, same with Muzza. Also, shout out to whoever's doing the Mozza versus Muzza match on Sunday. Big fan for whoever's saying that. In my head, first thoughts for Group A was, how many goals is Alice going to concede? And I think it's going to be minimum 3 a game is where my head's at the moment. Mm-hmm. So 15 plus goals against, that's going to be a tough one to get out of. Group B is really interesting, you know. I mean, you've got people in there who have won some stuff. I mean, I know you slated Diz, but he has won a competition previously.
So's Tony.
Yeah, we're both Super League winners.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly endorse Tony's Super League win because he beat me on the way. there's competition winners in there. Obviously, Curtis got the Triple Crown. Limo's won it twice. Diz has won competitions. GYR's won it. Like, there is obviously, we've said Busternet has probably the most draft experience out of everybody here. I wouldn't sleep on Group B. I think it's quite difficult.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that, to be honest. Like Jebaru, if you could pick which group to be in, which one would you jump into? Just while we've got some predictions going in as well. I think Cam's put a prediction of who will win Group A. So do drop your channel points in there as well, and obviously join in.
Yeah, cheers, Cam. Cam, really appreciate that. Good work, Cam.
Cam's getting all my credit. Cheers, lads.
Sorry, Owen's done that.
You literally said I was typing away.
I didn't know what you were typing. You know? I can't see your hands. I can see my hands. Look, but I can't see your screen. Sorry, mate. The irony is, I said, who's doing all the chat stuff? Owen, I'll do it. Brilliant. I was listening. I was totally listening.
You even asked me. You said, "Owen, can you do it?" I said, "Yeah." Anyway,
Owen has been brilliant. Cam has done nothing. Right. So
that's not what I meant.
That's not true. Jebaru, if you could put yourself into one of these groups, where would you want to be to increase your chances of getting out of it?
Group C. I think that's going to be the easiest one for me. If I could avoid being in either of these groups, because I obviously saw the groups before anyone else because I had to make this lovely graphic. But it's more the Group A. I can see 5 people who can qualify out of there, and then I look at Group B and I can see 6 people that can qualify out of there as well. Even Mr. Diz, because I think some of the squads that he's playing up against, he's got a little bit of an advantage on. Maybe, I'm not sure. I'm looking at Delgit with his 2 keepers. I mean, even Raspadori and can't remember who else. Well, he's right in front of me. There we go. Raspadori and Caputo. Even they can score some goals against Jack Butland. It's going to be tense. We could end up with an Ian McIntosh situation. We could break that record again, going through with 5 points and -7 goal difference. It could come down to the head-to-heads. And I think
is Tony going to do a run-in and help Diz get through?
Exactly.
I am.
Exactly.
Whilst also simultaneously helping Alice as well.
Yeah.
It's a double put over.
Go over the waste of possession side of things. Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah. It's really it's really competitive groups. I think we looked over the draft. I mean, the lowest ranking is it's Delgit at 48, and then we got 2 of the top 3 in the world, or I think that's how it works anyway, on the FM rankings and in GYR and Viking Dance. So,
I mean, for me, this is the thing. I mean, like, over the last 2 years, the PvP scene is developing so quickly. Like, you don't get an easy group anymore now because everyone's coming in far more prepped, far more tacticked up. They're drafting a lot more. Everyone's got experience. You're not coming into a tournament now, like the playoffs, as a debutant who's never drafted before, unless your name's Ian McIntosh. Okay? So every group is going to be tricky. And for me, I mean, we're saying there that Group B's the easy group. Group B is not the easy group at all. And Group A is certainly not the easy group. Like, I think there is going to be, and it's already been pointed out in the chat so far, a big name is going home. Big names are going to go home early in this tournament. And I think that's the new way that tournaments go these days. Like, you can't discount anybody. Like, I know we're joking about Alice, we're joking about this, but you know what? They might not finish bottom because it depends on, for example, say Stinger gets off to a bad start.
So
we know the way that it's like, we know how the way that this thing's set up. You know, it's only like 5 games. You lose 2 games, you're under pressure straight away. If somehow you sneak a couple of draws, if you know we're Grief and Alice's team, say Alice gets 2 draws, she's already on 2 points. She could be in a conversation going into the final couple of games, and maybe she's out. You know, it's not as cut and dry as it has been in the past. We go, there's 3 teams who are going to win all the games, and there's 3 teams who are going to lose all the games.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you definitely didn't change your opinion there just because you saw Alice turned up in chat and went, I mean, Alice could definitely not come last. Hey, Your Honor.
I never said Alice was going to finish last anyway. I backed her. She's got Andy Carroll. She's clean on finishing last. Right? This is a work of genius.
And you, a former Sunderland fan.
The thing is, right? The thing is it's like, and I've used this analogy before. It's like when you play, if you're like an elite level sportsman and you play against someone who's never played before, you hate that person because you don't know what they're going to do, because they don't know what they're going to do. And that's the beauty of it. And I think we could be, that's what Alice's secret weapon could be. The element of surprise.
And just going back to it, I mean, I've got the actual odds for the full tournament from Andrew, who's collated them from Triple Crown of Yellow. So do you want me to start from the bottom? Is that going to be the easiest, or start from the top? Which way would you want to go, Tony?
Let's go bottom to top, I think.
Bottom to top. Okay, so bottom at 9,500 to 1. Anybody want to take a guess?
If it's not Alice, I'll eat my hat.
There we are. It is Alice. You don't need to eat any hats at all. 6,900 to 1. A very nice number for Dalgit. 5,200 to 1 for Muzza. 1,800 to 1 for Mozza. I mean, I think that probably comes back to that 30% win rate. 271 for Sweet Left Foot. 96 to 1 for Stinger. 87 to 1 for Limo, 59 to 1 for Mr. Diz. So a lot higher than we're saying. I think that's probably where we are. Yeah, exactly. Maybe Andrew likes the podcast as well. 18 to 1 for Goofy Jord, 5 to 1 for GYR, 3 to 1 for Curty, and Viking Dan is the evens favourite.
I love Andrew, but dear God, man, don't open the bookies. You will be so homeless. I bet you're like 72,000, 6,900 to 1.
Yeah. It's
I'll put 10
it's come from the ELO, but I think if it's a little skewed because of Viking Dan's month of April and May, how well he did in all those drafts, and I think
I'll give you some good money on GYR at 5 to 1.
Yeah, I think it's a decent shout, isn't it? That's
Mazda
a decent shout. But then,
it was 1,800 to 1 for Mazda. I'd back Mazda.
yeah.
but this is the thing. It's a bit like the Grand National, isn't it? There's someone who's going to be sat at 2,000 to 1, and they're going to be the outsider, and everyone's going to be like, oh, there's no way 2,000 to 1's going to win. And all of a sudden, they end up in the final.
Can I pick someone by kit color? Is that
That's
Is that
why I
Alan?
did
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's a great call.
Alice
Who's
is
got
in
the
the
funniest
final.
name? Yeah, who's got the funniest name? That's where we go.
Mr.
don't we?
CV. Okay, cool. Sorry,
Um,
what were you saying?
Have you also got the actual in-game odds as well? Because again, that's slightly different from Andrew's, actual odds taken from real life data. We're going to compare this to what the game actually predicts. So the game is predicting Mr. Diz at 1,000 to 1. Viking Dan.
Don't laugh.
That's
Viking
as bad
Dan,
as you can get?
Viking Dan at 150 to 1. Stinger at 50 to 1 with Dalgit. Limo at 33 to 1 with Goofy Geord.
Ooh.
G Muzza at 20 to 1. M Ozza at 18 to 1. Let's start calling that down.
Why did you have to do that when I had a mouthful of beer? What are you doing to me?
Oh, there's a clip. There's a clip. Just to say that. That's the one.
Yeah, right. So we're clear, right? Mozza 18 to 1. GYR 10 to 1. FM Girl 9 to 1.
Why not?
Sweet Left Foot 11 to 2. Curty 5 to 6.
I think Kurt is the only consistent there. I mean, that's where
Two
that
of the
one
three that we've
sits.
slated are in the top 3.
But that's the thing. Who knows what's going to happen? Anything could happen.
I've got a bug to report to the SI forums. That's all I'm saying.
Apparently, if Alice wins this tournament, she's going to make a comic, and we're all going to be in it. So that's good. We'll all be comic famous as well. So that's brilliant. So we're all going to be on the Scouting Centre. We're all going on FMT Pod, and we're all going to be in Alice's comic. We're going big, boys. We're going big.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we drop a link to Alice's comic in the chat as well, by the way? So you should definitely all go and follow that if you're not already doing so. Owen, who did we get as the winners from Group B in the poll that you definitely made? You definitely made that poll.
Also, definitely have to refund the prediction because I couldn't prove who was going to win Group A rather than a poll. Viking Dan got the most votes for Group A. We're currently halfway through the vote for Group B, and there's been 2 votes. So GYR and Limo are currently leading. Not as much passion for Group B, to be fair.
I've gone for the combo of Sweet Left Foot and Mr. Diz. I mean, that could actually be an all right squad with 40 players.
Can I last time on Drafts and Crafts, I offered Tony a wager.
Oh, you did,
which I didn't actually have to pay out on, which was fantastic. Which was gifted subs for every goal R9, a 15-year-old R9 Ronaldo scored. Alice, this one's for you. Gifted sub every victory, all the way through the tournament. If you go all the way to the final, gifted sub every win. There you go. There's my wage. There's my wager for this month.
Wow.
I was gonna do the same with Andy Carroll, but I can't afford that. So
No, because everything we aimed at him. Yeah.
See, this is part of the reason we get Hood in. So every month is Hood's gifted subathon. And there'll be 1 month that'll just be sitting there going, "Oh God, I'm homeless."
I'll give 5 gifted. Is it Diz that Spinazzola? If Spinazzola doesn't go off injured, if he plays and doesn't go off injured, I would give 5 gifted. In the 5 games that Diz is going to play.
I don't want that bet.
It's bold. It's bold. Jebaru, do you think that's a bold bet?
Yeah, I think it is. But he's not really put the specifics on there, so it sounds like he can back out of it with a clause or something like that.
Doesn't it?
Okay,
Yeah,
if he plays 2/3 of 4 games, like you can sub him off after 6.
Two-thirds of 4 games. Two-thirds of 4.
If I say play 4 games, in the first minute sub him, I get 25 quid out of it.
Look, when Steve said to me for goals for R9, I said from open play because otherwise I'll put him on penalties.
Yeah.
Like I even said, look, that's a daft thing because you could manipulate that bet. But some of Spinazzola, you want to say, right, Spinazzola. My shout is if Spinazzola does not get injured at any point throughout this tournament, then there's your gifteds. Because you know he's gonna get injured.
Yeah, but he's got to play.
But
he can't sub him after minute 2.
Well, he gets
just getting into training
the building. Like his bags are too heavy. He hurts his arm. That's the problem. The winning prediction, by the way, in the chat, if anyone is interested for Group B, is a tag team of Sweet Left Foot and Mr. Diz. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you combine their points, I think they'd be doing all right.
38% of the chat reckon that 2 people at once will win the tournament. So, or at least win that group. Then it's Gareth, 25% for Limo, 13% for Curty, and still no one's backing Busternet at any point for anything.
Busternet was in the chat.
I don't think he's even backing himself, to be fair. So
I think what's happening is that he sees someone betting on him and he just goes into their chat and takes the points off them and goes, no, you don't. He's just refunding it straight away. You don't need that. You don't mean it. We've all said some things we can't take back. There's some channel points. Right. We're going to move back on. And I think it's time to look at some more teams now. We've got a bit more info as to what we're talking about. I'm going to come to you, Hood. First of all, I'm going to talk about Limo and his squad of players who live very close to his house. That appeared to be the tactic of drafting players that he could get in at short notice, presumably. Like if there's a sub, they live 2 doors away. So started the draft, as we said, his first pick was James Milner. Jordan Henderson was sat there. He didn't take Hendo's first pick, which we were going, somehow he's going to end up with Van Dijk, even though he's not French or Italian or Brazilian or English. It's always the way that Limo.
I'm shocked it wasn't Vardy. To be honest, like I know he got him, but
he knew he was going to get Vardy. He had to get an Everton connection. He's got Richarlison. He's got Moise Kean. So talk me through it. Is this standard Limo fare, or is this something else that we maybe haven't seen?
No. Standard Limo fare. It's 4-4-2, isn't it? We've touched on keepers previously being potential calamities. Exhibit F. Now I think we're at again. This is 2 sets of keepers which I'm not overly fond of. I think he may also struggle at left back unless he fancies playing James Milner there potentially.
Got Emerson.
Yeah. I prefer Max Aarons and Max Aarons at right back. I think that's a good option. I like Max Aarons, especially in this particular stipulation. I think he's actually probably a really good pickup for that right back spot. Yeah, Milner, Henderson as an Everton fan. Leave that one
He's
there.
seen the light. That's basically I'm seeing it. He's seen the light there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Richarlison can be one of those that is very hit and miss. Again, in drafts. Same with Moise Kean. I don't know which one of them is going to partner Jamie Vardy up front, but I know Vardy starting for 100% certain. So it's as I said, it's kind of standard Limo 4-4-2, isn't it? I mean, he has a couple of different variations which he's run previously. I think he'll go back to tried and tested with this one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and is he potentially going to go 4-2-4, play Richarlison out wide, have Keane and Vardy go up top?
It is weird. So Moise Keane is someone I was a big fan of from FM21. I had him in my my single player save, and he can play. I think it's accomplished at right and left, but he isn't like it's not his game. So it does feel like he normally plays a variation of 4-2-4, like he has the two Secunda Volantes. So unless he's going to do wide attackers or maybe move one side up, he has to get the most out of those picks. Maybe he's going one up front. Like, who are you going to maybe put Richarlison up as a striker? It's just, it's very, there isn't anything screaming weakness or terrible pick, but there isn't many game breakers there either. I like Bernardeschi, Neres. They're all okay. They're all 6.5, 7. You know, nothing there. You think, okay, he can get you a goal out of nothing, or when the game's going against you, he's going to pull a bit of magic out. I don't really see it there. Like Richarlison is Everton hype, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe, possibly. And I guess Djebrou then, in that sense, if he's not going to score many goals, is he going to keep them out? And is Lafont the best goalkeeper he could have got at that time?
I don't think it was. I mean, Lafont, he's not got. Maybe Fraser Forster's got some good stats, but he's not got amazing as well. If you look at Saliba, Konate, Gabriel, if this was FM 24, 25, that would be an unbelievable centre-back partnership between the three of them. Konate will be lethal on free kicks. Who's taking them, though? Bernardeschi, Neres. Yeah, exactly. Is it Milner? I think it might be Henderson and Milner sitting in the middle there. And then maybe it's a combination of Bernardeschi, Neres, and actually Diaby. Diaby is very, very, very pacey. And it probably will be Richarlison and Vardy up front. It's just, I think Vardy's gone now. I think he was FM21, he was brilliant. This one, I'm still not sure he's got the finishing, but it's just, he's almost Mickey Quinn-esque. His pace isn't there, but he can still poach it. So it's that type of way. I wouldn't say he's slow as anything, but it's
that's a reference.
That's the thing.
Reference.
That's the thing, though. You've mentioned there. Maybe if you can play him as a poacher rather than relying on him running off the shoulder of the last defender. I mean, if you can maybe switch a role, possibly. Maybe these players might have an effect somehow. I love the fact that Steve said that Aarons was a shout. I think Aarons is a really good player. I know there's a question mark about some of his crossing, possibly in relation to some of the other wing backs that would have been available. But for me, the thing that screamed a lot throughout this draft, we noticed last night, we talked about it, going, because you're drafting specific nations at a time, you've 5 English players, then 5 Brazilians, then 5 French, then 5 Italian. Versatility was something that I'd be looking at from my players. I'd be trying to get players in who can play multiple positions, because you don't know whether you're going to get your first pick, really, or your first choice. So we mentioned Sweet Left Foot got the Ox there. He's a versatile player. He can play a number of positions. Max Aarons can play fullback, wingback, down the right. He can also play on the left-hand side, and he can invert if needs be as well. So if you get a couple of injuries, he's a great player to have in the squad as a bit of a backup. Same with Mukiele, he can also sort of cover a couple of those defensive positions. I think that's where he maybe, I hope that's what he was thinking, that in the event of an injury or change stuff up, dropping Milner back to left back is an option, or right back is an option if he wants to tighten stuff up. So yeah, that was my thought anyway.
I think Milner starts right back, personally.
I don't know if it goes that far, but I think Jordan Henderson being fit is really key to this squad. He's much like Liverpool, like his central midfield options aren't big, and Henderson, if he stays fit, he's a brilliant box-to-box midfielder. He can cover a number of roles in midfield, but if he's not available, I don't know who goes in there. It's slim pickings, unfortunately. He might have to go 4-3-3 or even crazy formation time, which we've seen Lemos play with recently on his Scouse House stuff. But
I forgot that.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's not going to be as predictable for Limo, to be honest. But I think there's something there. There's something that I'm you know what? With a man with his pedigree, you can't rule him out. You can't
Hold
rule
on,
him
hold
out.
on. Tuesday.
What's in the
I
chat?
forgot
What's in the chat? Sorry.
Limo's
Fremo.
no.
He's already got the
Fremo.
barbecue ready.
Limo played a one centre back formation in the qualifier on Tuesday. I completely forgot. So,
I saw that on his stream the other night, and I was going, one centre back. I mean, he was 3-0 down against Tranmere after like 15 minutes, but I thought he's at least trying it.
it worked though. I mean, he qualified, so that completely put like he had a lot of midfielders in that, and he doesn't have a lot of midfielders drafted. There's a lot of centre backs drafted, so I don't know.
I'm just happy he's a Liverpool fan now. So
Yeah, I mean, it's blatant Liverpool fan.
Unless his plan is to actually bury these players on stream. Like his plan is Henderson and Milner is tackle harder, and he's going to put them as centre forwards, and they're not going to do anything. He's going to see the frauds, pair them absolute frauds.
No. I hear he's got a Origi tattooed across his shoulder blades. He likes Liverpool that much.
He's got Dominic Solanke pajamas. Right.
no, even he wasn't good for Liverpool.
No. We're going to go to someone who I think we've mentioned already. Limo's got lots of pressure on him. He's had 2 trophies. We're going to go to someone who, unfortunately, is yet to get silverware, but he's always there or thereabouts. Owen, talk to me about my man Stinger here. Is this the squad that is finally going to get him down the altar and hitched?
I think this is an amazing sleeper picks draft. So very good to potentially great draft. Singer, everyone's favorite underdog, always does well, but there's very little weaknesses. But like he's a lot of good sleeper picks. The keeper who I've never used, Mateus. When you look at him, Brazilian is someone I might start drafting. Very good. I know that I think it was Mazza was very unhappy he didn't get him. He also has Kunde, Holgate, Geary, Bruno Gomes, even Willian, who's I think 4.8 million. Like they're all good, solid picks, versatile. And then he's got a couple of game changers. He's got Fekir. He's got Dani Alves. Locatelli is a game changer in the sense that he can shut down a midfield. And I'm going to put Verratti in there because of his versatility. And again, can shut down a midfield. He's got a good engine in there. Couple of weird picks. Not a fan of Dwight McNeil. Never have been. Not at all. Just strange.
I like Dwight McNeil. I think he's very, very in game. In game, he's very, very good. In draft mode, I get where you're coming from about that. Maybe not. But if there's a man who can use him, I'm backing Stinger to get something out of Dwight McNeil.
I'd fancy Stinger for a final push or a semi-final, pushing for a final maybe. But you definitely have never bought Dwight McNeil. You've only played as Burnley because the only people who like Dwight McNeil have played as Burnley.
Exactly.
He always lets you down.
I can't afford to buy Dwight McNeil unless you're Burnley because they want like 100 million or something for him. So
he's like 95 million or something. But it's like it's Stinger knows what he's talking about. He's the tactics guy on the lowdown. Like he has the brain for it. It's a very solid draft. Like I can't see other than the Dwight McNeil thing, which it might have been. I don't know how much he is in draft off the top of my head. It might have been a saving money thing.
It's
it
not
might
very
be
expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Stinger lives in Burnley. Like I can't think of other reason you could draft him.
Steve, we're talking their tactics. Can you spot where Stinger's going to be? Can he finally unlock this one? Like I mean, has he got players? I mean, Fekir, I think I'm looking at straight away. Going, I know I've seen RDF get so much out of Fekir, and I then trust Stinger to get so much out of Fekir. Owen saying there, Locatelli. Can he get something out of Verratti? We've joked, of course, of Alice with Verratti, and she didn't have a great time with him. Holgate's an interesting shout. He's got Kunde again, that question mark. But for me, Dani Alves is in that squad.
Is it bad that I think Dani Alves is starting for Stinger?
Dani Alves is phenomenal.
Definitely over George Baldock, not even the best Baldock brother, in my opinion. Sorry, I may be biased. His brother Sam did play for Bristol City. So, no, again, it's one of those things with Stinger. We've seen him try central midfielders at fullback as inverted fullbacks or inverted wingback, should I say. We've seen him try that. I must admit, his video that he did on inverted wingback versus fullback on attack, that actually really helped a tactic of mine. So thank you, Stinger. So, like, he knows what he's doing. You've touched on Fekir. I think the sleeper here is actually Amin Guri. I think Fekir and Guri, if they're cutting him from the wings, will cause a lot of problems. Whether or not he starts that combination, I don't know. I don't know whether Guri is good enough to be a starter, but I know he can cause problems. He's relatively pacey, he can finish as well. I like Stinger's team very much, very much. I think he could do damage in his group.
I think Fakir's going to lead the line. Sorry.
Yeah, Leo, to be honest, that's a question I was going to pass towards Jebaru on. Who's leading the line? Is Stinger doing what you hate? Is he going to the dark side?
He might be. He may have Fakir and Guri. I think one thing, we've raised it a few times, big man, little man. Only Stinger's got it in defense. I mean, it's Acerbi and Koundé. Like, if Koundé's left on his
Baresi, right?
yeah, exactly. And it's not going to work when he's coming up against some of the teams with the bigger boys up front, or the bigger boys coming up from defense. It's quite a dangerous draft, Koundé. I mean, he's pacey, he's good on the tackle. It's just that jumping and heading that's really going to let him down.
The jam roly poly talking in this.
Yeah, no, exactly. I realised we did. I realised we'd done two teams. All right, we went through the groups in a row, but I'm already cracking open another can within the next team. I was like, this isn't going to end well if I'm doing a can of team at the moment. But yeah, I'm not sure, but I think with the group that he's got, he can get out of it. I think it's probably between Stinger, Mozza getting out of this group, probably joining Muzza and maybe Jord as we look into their squads. But like I said, it's going to be competitive. He got there before. Oh, will he get there again? I'm not. But also,
if Stinger plays strikeless, I'll be so surprised.
Yeah, if he does get there, we're getting a new picture of him, because those arms are so annoying. Once again, rumour graphics, because he's in the way again. Yeah.
If I had also, arms, look at that flex he's got going on. Right?
Yeah, but he's not even shirtless, so what's the point?
No, we Photoshop that top on.
There's another clip.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, we did
with
do
GYR.
that.
Like, he's just a man who's too attractive. We had to sort of take his camera away from him. We've had to Photoshop a shirt on Stinger, but just wait until we put a little trophy just above his head like that, and eventually that'll make complete sense, right? He's gonna do it. This is the time for him to do it. This is the time. I say this every single tournament. This is Stinger's time. It's got to be.
He's got one goalkeeper, and I think Ali was waxing lyrical about him, but it's one goalkeeper all the same as well.
He's the keeper that created the meme as well. He's the keeper that angered Buster Net. So that's your man. That's your Mateus right there. Jebaru, we're going to keep you going because we're talking about players who've got expectation, and you mentioned someone else who's going to struggle in this group, or at least is going to battle in this group. Could he win the group? Curtie.
Well, yeah, Hunt's had enough, but
he's outraged.
We're going to get to GYR. Don't worry. Save it.
I don't know. It's very strange. How can he win? How can he win a draft without 20 superstars in his team? Quoting what he said on Twitter. That's quoting what he's whinging about on Twitter. To be fair, we weren't harsh on his team yesterday. I think his front line's questionable. I mean, Callum Wilson, if he stays fit, great. Brewster, nope. Gignac, 10 years ago, yep. Martinelli, 5 years' time, yep. So, behind that, it's great. It's just that front line. I don't see where the goals are coming from. If he keeps Callum Wilson fit, yes, maybe. Grealish and Lingard, you've got to get a tune out of Grealish in some sort of way, but I know Curtie's a big fan of Grealish.
Yeah,
Spent a lot on Kante. But he's also got Fernandinho as well as backup. It's a strange one. Like, you look at Issa Diop and Mings at the back. That's not screaming safe at the back for me. Maybe he's going to play Pavard in there.
Yeah, George, I was going to say, he's got three very strong central midfielders though: Kante, Tonali, Pessina.
Yeah,
he's then got Grealish out wide. He's got big man Gignac who's smashing them in Mexico. Callum Wilson, who can score a lot of goals in PvP because of his size. Pavard, I like for a bit of pace. Fernandinho could potentially drop in at centre back if needs be.
Fernandinho's Yeah, Fernandinho's too slow. He's got the wrong Bruno Henrique.
Yeah.
Neto, I like Neto as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, like
Owen,
I said yesterday,
am I blinkered?
It's every time I think about it, I swing back and forth on this. I think I like it. What I do like is Pavard in the qualifier surprised me. He was everywhere for I forget it was Gmos or it might have been Kaza Bob had him, but he was the
Mhm.
top scorer or like top 3 scorers after like game week 3 or 4. He was solid defensively. Mings is one of my budget kind of cover left back, centre back type of picks. He's a great midfield. Kante is one people often snake for the price, but like he never lets you down. I don't know. I've seen Carty use Grealish and Lingard before he gets a tune out of them. I think he's gone with what he likes. I love the Gignac pick just for the history of the big bastard, basically. I think he'll do well. I like it. I like it, but it's easy to make a case either way. It's such a strange draft.
Yeah,
There's a little
Steve,
spy.
where you seem to be a bit maybe not. It's not your favorite Curty draft, is it? Let's be
It's
honest.
not. It's not. This to me screams that he's playing a diamond. I don't know, like a narrow diamond in midfield. I could see you rocking Tonali as a central defensive midfielder, Kante, Pacina either side, and then probably Grealish as the cam. Martinelli then is a backup striker, can also play on the wing as an option, but I actually genuinely think he's probably going to play Gignac and Wilson as his front two. I like Pavard. I think he's actually probably the best inverted wing back in the game. I think his ability to come in and play on the ball is actually really exceptional. Whether or not he plays in there, I don't know. And Diop and Mings, Tyrone Mings is an absolute nightmare on corners.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, so essentially standard Curty fare. He's going to be up there or thereabouts. You should get out of the group, even with that squad. Are we thinking, or is it getting a bit too tight in that group?
In Group B, right?
He is.
He'd be one of my favorites for it, but that one, there's just so much Agents of Chaos in there. It could be anything.
It's a group of Def 2, isn't it? So it's after Group A, which is the original group of Def. So
I'd say the difference is Group A, everyone's going to be trying to win the league, and it feels like the other one will be just they have a lot of frauds in their draft. It's who's going to make a mistake and try and lose it for their team, you know. I don't know. I think Cardi will be there. I think he'll be in the knockout stages.
I think he'll be there. I think he'll be there or thereabouts. Someone else I think might be there. Hood. Goofy Jord had I think, without wanting to put words in anybody's mouth, I think Goofy Jord had a pretty decent draft, to be honest. There's a few players in there that I like personally, and I said it last night on the draft show. A couple of players that I'm looking at sort of going, you know what? My tactic would suit these players that he's drafting. And I'm wondering, is he doing something very similar? Because I know he's got Pogba, and he complimented how much I got out of Pogba the last time we played against each other, and players like DLC and stuff. And I'm just looking at it going, is it maybe there's something there that I quite like about it? But again, maybe that's because it's players that seem very similar to what I like.
I'm about to rub Owen right up the wrong way. I love Ciro Immobile.
Oh yeah, I was like, how are they going to do this? Yeah, 100%.
I love Ciro Immobile. I think he's probably one of the best strikers in the game for draft. Yeah, Owen's done. Headphones come off. I think that Immobile and Calvert-Lewin is a problem for a lot of teams. I think they offer something different to each other. You know, I do a lot of simulations, and it's rare that I see a season where Immobile scores under 35 goals for Lazio. The guy knows where the back of the goal is. I'm intrigued by the Pogba shout. I've been intrigued when you've picked him, Tony, as well. I've tried. I cannot get a tune out of Paul Pogba. I like his defense. Really good options. I mean, I'll hold my hands up. Questionable picking Kurt Zuma. I personally wouldn't, but corners. So
and Badashili and Smalling.
Yeah, big on corners. I actually like a goalkeeper here. I like Hugo Lloris. It's probably one of the first times I've said this, apart from Donnarumma tonight. I think he's got some good options. Alex Tellers, I think he's at 5 million in the draft as well. Is
Yeah.
a absolute steal, steal in Alex Tellers.
Yeah, he was my budget pick for Brazil, to be honest. Like, if you can get him good free kicks, good corners, good crossing, and like I say, 5 million quid, absolute bargain. Livramento really, really pacey as well. Owen, you're gonna argue against Immobile? I know you hate him. Also, argue for Immobile and try and defend Jadon Sancho as a pick for me, please.
Sancho's a weird one. I cannot get a tune out of him. But similar, I can't get a tune out of Pogba. There's certain people, like, you can get a tune out of Pogba. I've seen Goofy George get a tune out of Sancho. Holly likes picking Jadon Sancho. So it's a risky pick. I know it's a terrible pick. I quite like a lot of this. Like, you've Tellez, you said himself, Ishmaeli, left backs for Brazil are the value pick for Brazil for me. I'm a massive Chris Smalling fan. Always have been since before the big beefy meta. I actually think, while I don't like Immobile and I'd never draft him, where I think he's done the right thing, he'll probably have Calvert-Lewin playing behind him or beside him. And Calvert-Lewin can make any striker look unbelievable. The amount of knock-ons he gets, he can play a slide pass.
Yeah.
I think Calvert-Lewin is one of the value picks for England. Goofy George won the draft for me. I was going to say hands down, but maybe not. I think ahead of G Muzza, he was the winner of the draft for me. So, big
Jebaru, the winner of the draft, according to Owen. Are we rating him that highly?
He went mental in France, and I think that was quite clear.
He spent all of his money in France. It's like 140 million or something in France.
Yeah. Zuma, the dirty cat kicker, Pogba, Lloris. It's a good squad.
He was a million, I think. He was the budget pick, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's seen where it goes. I think there seemed to be a few panic picks, and I think Pogba might have been one. I don't think Pogba was actually in his plans, but it'd be interesting to see where it goes. I think, like, once again, we're onto a big man, little man up front. Is that going to be the case? I mean, Armstrong's a good backup as well with his pace, and then he's got two very similar right backs in Livramento and Dodo, if it is the right Dodo.
This was the thing. He had. I
think he had about 7 Dodos. Yeah, exactly. They're definitely not dead. I mean, exactly. So Rodrigo's a good pick, but then again, is Rodrigo a good pick in a couple of years? I think he'll do all right. I think this is. I probably would say get out of the groups with this, but then it's Jord, and I think that's the other thing. Jord is a tactic twitcher. If he goes 2-0 up, he'll change his tactic. If he just won't leave it alone, and that's what he paid. Basically, when he lost that semi-final, he played around with his tactics. Mozza took advantage and got through to the final. Just needs to be more calm about it, and it's one of those things that I always say about FM. When you've got 20 different instructions on, you are going to confuse players. It's not going to understand what's going on. Keep it simple sometimes. Sometimes keep it simple, stupid.
Absolutely.
Not saying stupid. That's pretty harsh, isn't it?
But no, you're completely right. You're completely right. Like, I mean, when Hood and I had that infamous match where he got a man sent off, I remember watching the play-by-play. Everyone's going, Tony's not changing. Why is Tony not changing tactics? Believe in what you're about to do. And the same thing happened when I played Jord in a final. I had a man sent off really quickly. I had to readjust. And I don't think he did. I think he just stuck with what he was doing, and that was a really, really big thing for him to learn at that time. And then he started to tweak, and maybe I should have done it a little bit more in it as well. But I'm interested to see what will happen. I think he's got a really good squad actually, and it'll be very interesting to see what tactic he uses on the day, and whether or not he trusts in that, or whether he's got something else up his sleeve. Now, talking about people who know the odd little thing about tactics, Owen, we're going to start with you. We're going to start with you because we need Steve to just have a little moment to himself for the creators Olivier Giroud, the man who could sell webcams to whatever the analogy is. GYRFM. How many trophies this man got? More trophies than Sir Alex Ferguson.
So I've written down in my notes, GYR, I just don't know. Because he can easily, and probably will easily, make me look a mug. But, like, I look at picks, and I know some from our budget picks. You've got Lasagna, who's a million. You've got Curtis Jones and Gallagher in your midfield. It's a bit strange. There's maybe better value picks out there. Bobby Firmino, who I've never seen anyone get a tune out of in draft. Maybe I'm wrong. But then Nketiah, I think, is a good person. If you're stuck you need a chance to be created in the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes. He'll beat a defense. But I forget who Hood said it about. You don't back him to the target. But that 1 in 10 times, he pulls off a miracle goal for you. Ben Yedder.
Mine was about Bakayoko. At least you're started hammering a striker here.
Yeah. That's true.
He's got Ben Yedder. I like Ben Yedder.
I like Ben Yedder, but Ben Yedder, he either completely runs away with a tournament and like is a top goal scorer by 4 or 5 goals, or he just kind of goes and fits and starts. The defense is there though. Like he's an unbelievable defense and defensive midfield, but drafted. He's got Stones, Bastoni, Fabinho, Zagadou, Cresswell for the free kicks. Like he'd be hard to beat. He needs Ben Yedder to fire a lot of goals from though, because I don't know what formation he's playing. I think he's going to be playing Ben Yedder off Bobby Firmino. I like Ayer as well. You know,
I like the idea of Nketiah as well. I'm a fan of. I think he's got Zagadou in there who is great, but has acceleration of 8 or 9. That's the only sort of question mark I have on Zagadou. He's got good goalkeepers though, very good goalkeepers. He's got Lucas Leiva, Jebaru.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh, it's phenomenal that way. Tony, can you do a joke about lasagna, please, just to keep everyone happy?
I'm keeping the lasagna jokes at bay because there's too many layers to this, and I don't want to be stuffed, you know, because here I am, you know, past my bedtime, trying to keep us going. Just we're talking about foot bolognese manager here, and just
there you go, Tony Jameson there, former professional comedian. Yeah. Exactly.
Hold on. Is that all you can ragoo?
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately,
who says we're not the best draft competition in the world?
I feel like after those pasta puns that Gareth just sat with his finger up, going one more, and you're out.
I mean, Bastoni is definitely a pasta, isn't it? It's the shell-shaped one. I'm pretty sure.
The Action Man bow tie. Yeah.
Has anyone got Johnny Fusolini? He's in the database, isn't he? Jebaru.
Anyway, you're asking me. I think you're asking me about Football Manager. Yeah, Lucas Leiva.
He's got Fabinho.
Yeah,
got Fabinho, second pick in Brazil.
And Lucas Leiva's there to play in the nothing matches against Mr. Diz. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think he's going to play that much. It might be that way. Who knows? But it's like I can see a starting lineup from this squad. It's very simple on it. I mean, he's got Cresswell who can put in free kicks. I think Firmino's a really sneaky pick, and I think he might even play attacking midfield. He might even start him just behind a front line of Nketiah and Ben Yedder. It might be that way. He might go narrow. I've actually, I was a bit late putting my predictions in, but I've actually put Firmino in as my potential MVP because it's somebody that people haven't used, but he's just got such a skill set. And probably by the end of it, I'll completely regret it and he probably doesn't even start him, but we'll see where we go.
Such a skill set. He can win the ball.
Hey, well, this is the thing. It's like we always say, every player is great in the right system. And Steve, the floor's yours. Hood knows, GYR knows all about systems, right?
Yep, he sure does. And it probably helps him that I'm doing a video on Tuesday basically testing all of his tactics against each other to find out which is best. I know what Gareth's going to run here. I'm not going to say it because I feel that's unfair insight that I could just name his starting 11 and just rattle it off. It's GYR, isn't it? Like he just wins competitions. Is what he does. There's a couple of players in here that I am surprised he did pick up, to be honest. I don't love his fullbacks, but obviously you never know when you're picking sort of thing. I mean, Danilo can play on both sides, probably a bit useful. Fabinho can play at right back. I imagine he was very shocked that Fabinho ended up with him. I mean, I know you guys touched on it. I think he would be ecstatic that Fabinho is in his team, to be perfectly honest. Probably not his choice of strikers. We bringing it up again, the tag titles. We've used Firmino previously. We like Firmino. So I think, Jeb, that's a good shout on MVP. It's Gareth. He'll do well. He's got a good win ratio in this competition for a reason. He's a regular fixture in this competition for a reason, because he keeps getting to semi-finals. He's always a tough one to beat, and he's always going to be my pick to go all the way.
I think you mentioned his win percentage, isn't it something like 87% or 80%?
70%. He's had 3 competitions, minimum semi-final. Minimum semi-final.
That's my guy.
I mean, there's nothing more to really say, is it? I think you've put him over quite well, to be honest. There, Steve.
So handsome, yeah.
Put
so
over
handsome.
like Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, as he's just described. It's just Gareth. It's just Gareth.
It's just Gareth. He just wins, doesn't he?
Dashing. And speaking of people who just win, the man who's on an absolute tear up right now, the current champ, a man who's also dashingly handsome, the lover of big meaty men, the Viking Dan, Jebaru. Come on, your bearded brother. Give me some words of wisdom about Viking Dan and what you think this squad's going to do. Is this going to be back-to-back titles for Dan?
No. I think we'll just start. We'll start that way, and that's my point.
See you all on Sunday, everyone.
Jebaru, killer of hype. Killer of hype.
You've mentioned the big meaty men. Where are they? They're not here. There's Lewis Dunk, and that's about it. I think building a team around Gabriel Jesus as your lone forward is, I don't know if that's clever. I mean, he's got pedigree as the manager. Arthur's there. He might as well have drafted Bernard or any of the other retirement home Brazilians. He actually wanted to draft Anthony. He just got the wrong first name, which is an actual true fact. Like we said, he picked up Declan Rice ahead of Fabinho. I mean, the midfield with Rice, Arthur, Joe Linton, I'm going to guess, and then Nkunku and Tyson maybe out wide, but even then, I'm not sure.
He's got
a reasonably solid back. Yeah, I know. Is it Coquelin the one who invests in renewable energy? Is it that one, or is it one of the other? Firmini, that's it. Yeah, and he was one of the old Arsenal frauds.
Who retired about 15 years before Coquelin was born, maybe.
No, not really. No. Yeah, you need to go check your timings on that one. But yeah, I think he's got a solid back line, and he can build from there. But like I said, I can't see where goals come from. In Nkunku, maybe, but I'm not sure. I think it's.
So Owen, what are you thinking? Can he get goals out of Gabriel Jesus? We questioned it at the time.
So
on
Dan
the draft. Do you get goals from Gabriel Jesus? I don't know.
Dan is my guy, so I'm trying to be unbiased, but it's not going to happen. I do really like a lot of his drafts. Great goalkeeper. I like Brandon Williams as a backup defender. DeMarco, Viking Dan credits half his wins to. He tries to get him every draft. Joe Linton is a bit strange. Coquelin is actually not a bad. I think he's about 10 or 12 million. He'll win a ball and hopefully find a pass to someone better than him. But he does
Francis Coquelin is 10 to 12 million pounds. Still, he's 62. Surely,
I actually don't think he's that old. I think he's younger than me. And I'm fresh. Look at this.
I guess he debuted at like 9 or something in the Arsenal.
Yeah, he played for Arsenal when they were like raiding every youth team. Like Cesc Fabregas was about 12 when he started and was captained. I know that Viking Dan has played Jesus. He can get a tune out of him. My big thing is kind of like what Jeb is saying. Even if you can get a tune out of Gabriel Jesus, what happens if he gets any injuries up front? Like there's not much cover there. I guess Joe Linton,
Maybe. I mean, Joe Linton's very much in that midfield realm now, in that box-to-box midfielder, which I quite like. I mean, I've used Gabriel Jesus before, and I quite like him, but I sort of use him as a second striker, and I'm going to say this out loud. I've used him in a strikerless formation as well. He sort of fits quite nicely. But to lead the line, I don't know. And Nkunku I quite like as a pick. Sense he's good. Declan Rice for me, I think is a strange one because of the fact that he could have had Fabinho, but Tomori, I love Tomori. He works in my system. Brandon Williams, I think, is probably the starter rather than the backup, and I think goalkeepers wise, he's got all right with Mannion. I mean, is it as bad as the picture that they're painting, Hood?
I don't think so. I mean, Dan tweeted out that he was going to play a 4-3-3, with Joelinton playing central midfield, which I don't know. He also had Nkunku on the right hand side, which I think he's much better suited to playing in the middle. So whether or not that's a bit of bait, I don't know. Dan is the man for tactics on the showdown. That's what he does. That's what he brings to the lowdown. He knows how the game works. And he's number one in the world for a reason. He had that unbelievable month, as everybody mentioned, where, he won here and just absolutely seemed to dominate the competition. He's the man to beat. He is the man to beat, in my opinion.
I mean, just to talk on your bait tactics and stuff, he is faking that his computer is breaking as well, just to get in people's heads.
Yeah, there's a chance he might not even be here Sunday, by the way.
Yeah.
So we might have to tag someone. If Mr. Diz says his internet's broken, don't know why. So he might not be here. So it might be the fact that the competition is actually between possibly just Alice, if she's the one who turns up. Maybe so.
Cam has helped us out as well. Coquelin, so he's 3 years younger than me. He's only 31. He's still in real life, I like him. I'm going to defend the poor fella. I quite like him as a player. He knows what he's limited at. He doesn't try and pass the ball more than 4 yards, and he kicks fellas.
He does have one meaty. Yeah, he does have one meaty man and a jockey, but I think he's 6'6", but I don't know how proven he is. I'm not sure. I guess that's an option B.
Andrew fancies him in the chat. He reckons he's good for at least 3, is what he said. So this is coming from the guy who provides all the stats.
Yeah, how many gifted subs are we betting on that one, Andrew? So you can't make predictions like that. Yeah, exactly.
That's not my bet.
I mean, to be honest, look, you've said a lot there for me. He's the number one drafter in the world for a reason, right? He's on form. He knows what he's doing. He knows tactics. I don't think this is an in the mud squad. I think Dan's going to be up there. And I think it's going to be a hell of a competition this weekend. We say this every single month that the competition gets better and better and better. And I genuinely think that this month is going to be absolute carnage trying to work out some of these matchups. I'm tempted now to go through some of the fixtures before we start looking to wrap stuff up. Now, I don't know if you've got on your screens yet, bro, but I'll just read them out.
Yeah, I'll bring them up.
Mine. We got.
There's not much Jeff can't do.
That. Just smooth. This is what you get for free. So, match day 1.
Thanks.
FM Girl versus G Muzzer. I mean, you talk about baptism of fire for G Muzzer there.
Mbappe and Tammy Abraham versus the team that Alice has drafted in game 1.
I love the fact
if Muzzer wanted a game to get Mbappe and Tammy Abraham firing, Jesus Christ.
So morale manager is match 1. Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Dan Burn could put a Mbappe in his back pocket.
Exactly.
Zabi did it for United a couple of seasons ago, so you don't need to be great.
Yeah. Mbappe is just Chris Wood, but French. That's what he's going to look like in that matchup. M. Ozza versus Goofy Jord. So that's going to be an interesting one. And Stinger versus Viking Dan. What a start that is.
The semi-final replay of the capitulation of Jord, did Mazza score 2 goals in the last 3 minutes, including extra time? Mm-hmm. That'll be interesting. Wouldn't you love to see a last-minute heartbreak for either of them, just to really add to the narrative?
I think so. G Muzzer's in the chat going, "Oh my god, I'm going to crash and burn so badly." I mean, G Muzzer has there's underplaying it. There's underplaying it, and there's going, "Oh, like when like a professional footballer turns up and goes, "Oh, I'm probably not going to be very good," and it's like they're spinning the ball on their heel. Like it's that in it. Like G Muzzer can definitely rest a couple of players from the first week.
I'm back on my guard, lettuce.
I am as well. I look, if anyone can cause an upset, Alice can. You're gonna get 95 minutes The last 5 minutes are going to be absolute carnage when she scores 3. She might be 8-0 down at the time, but she'll pull 3 goals back in the 90th minute
42-year-old.
and beyond.
I think the issue is they've got United Cities on the panel. He might have flashbacks to the last time he was in there.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh no.
You might lose him
need
off
to
the
check on
panel if she does that. Yeah, just
Every
all
time
comes
he's
back
off.
to him. Yeah.
Oh dear. It's gonna...
I love that.
You weren't there, man. You weren't there. I was like...
we were all there.
I love Alice in chat, and he goes, "I'm backing Alice. She might be 8-0 down." It's like, I don't know that's how that sentence should go, really.
She plays the long game. Alice, don't worry. You're fine. You're not going to finish bottom. We will sort something, right? If we have to throw the competition, you'll not be bottom. Don't worry, right? Curti versus Bust the Net in Group B. Big match to start. That's going to go on for most of the afternoon, I'd imagine.
The rage derby.
That's not getting done in the with this. You're like in the wrestling when they're like, the following contest comes with a 15-minute time cap. It should have that. We should do that and go right. There's
15
a
minutes
15-minute
is generous, Tony. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, we're going to put a time cap on it so they can't get through it. Like, so if it gets to 15 minutes, we'll just call it a draw, right? That might be the first half done. Then it's GYR versus Limo and Sweet Left Foot versus Mr. Diz. Welcome in, G Muzzer, for the raid, by the way. Appreciate that.
Oh.
Hope you're well. Group B's starting off on fire as well.
Sweet Left Foot versus Mr. Diz will be quite an intriguing contest. I think I looked at this as being the featured game, but then I looked at all the other games and went, all of them could be the featured game just for all of the hashtag Tony Jameson copyright narrative that is going on in all of these fixtures. I mean,
this is the thing. I mean, like, you know, if Diz beats Mike in the opening match, there's bragging rights there, isn't it?
yeah,
Bragging rights, that throws that group on its head. If
Might be the only 3 points you and win as well.
well, maybe you never know. But again, you're already off on it. Owen, I mean, what are you looking for? What are you looking forward to on match day 1 there?
The big one I'm going to be watching or want to watch is I want to see Alice prove a lot of people wrong. I said I think she'd threaten to qualify out of groups. Don't know whether she will because it's tough ass being in the group she's in. But also I think Curti and Bust the Net, 2 goats of FM around a long time, both love a rage at FM screwing them over. You'd love a red card or a dodgy penalty call. They'll both be catty, not with each other because they're nice guys, but like there'll be a lot of banging the desks from Curti and animated Daljit saying he'll never draft again. Then 6 hours after the draft, he's inviting the whole community around to his draft. Love it.
Yeah, and then you've got Gareth versus Limo, 2 champs going head to head. Steve.
Yeah, I spoke to Gareth earlier, and he's looking forward to his group because I don't think Limo's the only person he's played. I think Limo is the only person that has actually played. So I think he's looking forward to testing himself against different people. Obviously, you've got Diz and Sweet Left Foot coming from the showdown. Same with Curti. Obviously, he's never played Bust the Net. I know he's gagging to play RDF at some point. So not that he's sleeping on this first game against Limo, but I know he's excited to play some of the others.
Jebbery, what are you thinking in Group A then? What's your pick of that group?
all of them, maybe. Like I said, I think the Mozza versus Jordan.
Is there?
Yeah, the Mozza versus Jordan is interesting, but then Stinger versus Dan. Stinger's coming back to his patch almost. All right, he's not won it, but he's been in the final and been in the bridesmaid and everything. And he's coming to Viking Dan, who's undefeated. It'll be interesting. It's actually a battle of big beefy men, basically, isn't it, between the two of them? So who knows?
Two tactic guys and the lowdown as well, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to chuck a slight twist out here as well. A home match for Stinger. We know that could favour in the
neutral
database
venues,
mode
Tony.
rather than draft mode.
They're all neutral venues.
I don't buy this narrative.
I've just said out loud it's a home fixture. Right? Don't make me look stupid on my own show.
I don't actually buy that the neutral venue doesn't give an advantage because it always feels like the home team, even in neutral venues, wins more. That's what I'm saying because I lose both home and away.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that because of your records? Yeah, I was just about to
It's all the bloody corporate fans, Owen. It's the corporate fans in the middle. They just put your players under too much pressure, don't they? That's the trouble. Do we have any more fixtures, Jeb? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got all full.
Got all of them.
It's interesting.
All of them.
Our statsman, who knows, like he can see the matrix, sees everything in binary. Also believes there might be a bias in the neutral venues. So really, what he's saying is, Owen is very clever and knows what he's talking about. Thanks, Andrew. You're the best.
There you go.
Andrew, can you give us Owen's playoffs record, please, in the chat as well?
I
Appreciate it.
think I have 1 point in 6 games.
I mean,
which is a very good record based on my other
it's a great record. I've got 1 point in 10 games, so actually not 15 possibly. No, I've got more than 1 point then. Not much more last time. But
yeah, I actually got out of my group.
Wow.
I know, shock. Silence.
Lots.
Everyone else's computer broke. That's what happens.
Yeah. What happened there was everyone left, and you went, well, I might as well take the next little bit. So that'll be nice. Group A starts with G Muzzer versus Stinger. I like that. Goofy Geord versus FM Girl. She's already come off the back of a comeback against Muzzer. Then Viking Dan versus Mozza. That's the final rematch from last month. Group B, Buster Net versus Gareth. Tweakathon. Limo versus Sweet Left Foot. And then Diz versus Curti. Again, double showdown.
Inject that Diz versus Curti game, man. Honestly, sorry, Jeb. Inject that Diz versus Curti game. They are just going to be ripping the shit out of each other for the entire game. It's going to be brilliant.
It's going to be like a comedy roast, isn't it? Like Comedy Central. Put the pedal on. It's going to get non-PG at lunchtime. There's going to be some things that is going to be said that can't be taken back.
Next fixture, Tony.
Mm-hmm. Then we go into match day 3, sorry.
3. Yep.
Yeah. So FM Girls got a good result against Goofy George. She then comes up against Viking Dan without home advantage. Right. G Muzzer takes on Goofy Geord, and then Mozza versus Stinger. So okay. This is getting good. Curti versus Sweet Left Foot. Another hang on. This is all very showdown, isn't it?
I mean, potentially in Group B, you could have 4 showdown lads going out.
Yeah, could do. GYR versus Diz, and then Limo versus Buster. Again, like, that's going to go on for a while, innit?
Are we just saying that for every single Buster Net gamer? just to clarify. Yeah. He's great for catching up on data entry. I know that much. So it's great we can capture everything while he's still playing. But
when we're getting to this point, I'd love to see how Muzza's actually doing, because I've Muzza down. He'd be my long bet if there was actually odds that wouldn't make poor Andrew destitute. He was 6,900 to 1. At those odds, I definitely back him. But I think Muzza. I think by this point, people will be talking about Muzza and he'll surprise a few people. And I think George will be a real test then, because Goofy knows what he's doing.
That's the thing. That could be the match that sends either of those two through. I think, it's going to be a hell of a showdown, that one. Let's have
Mozza goes arguably against the 3 toughest games he'll get, and then he goes into like his next fixture. So he's played Viking Dan, Goofy Jordan, Stinger. So where he goes,
then he's got Mozza. Has he?
Yeah.
He's got.
Well, yeah, that's the most. There we go. It's Mozza versus Muzza. I mean, good luck whoever's doing the commentary on that.
The Zer'a Derby, they call it.
Yeah. M Ozza versus G Muzza. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stinger versus FM Girl, which is a tactical throwdown we all want to watch for the ages. Viking Dan versus Goofy. So again, I mean, say for example, Goofy's missed it against Muzza, he's then got to beat Dan to stay in the tournament. Vice versa, maybe Dan's got to beat Goofy to stay in the tournament at that point. That could be the game. You've got permutations there. Buster Net versus Diz. Again, we're talking anger. There's going to be anger in that match, I think.
No, there won't. Diz will be trying. Anytime Diz gets there, he'll just be like, do you want to do another episode? We can do it now if you want.
They could record the Scout and Center and still have time.
He's a good salesman. He'll know what he's doing.
I mean, those Scout and Centers are only an hour and a half long. Like, he's got time to record that easily and still play the match.
Go back to the original format of the match in the background, and he'll run out of topics to talk about.
Gareth versus Sweet Left Foot, excellent, and then Limo versus Curti, just a battle of the ages. Again, like, so much gold on the line in that match. That's going to be a hell of a match as well.
Yeah, maybe you are right. Maybe Mr. Diz just spends his whole tournament lining up his next 5 podcasts.
That's what he's gonna do, I
it could work. I think it could be a really successful tournament. How'd it go for you? Oh, it's great. I got loads of content out of it, but
To get away with it
Exactly.
here. Jared wouldn't let him do it.
yeah, we'll soon see. But there
This
we
is
are. And then-
the tongue twister derby in Group A, Muzza versus Mozza. As I said, whoever's got that game in the play-by-play, my heart goes out to you. Fair play. Good luck.
Can we call it the El Ozacon? El Ozaco. El
Well,
Ozaco. But yeah, think of it better.
Muzza suggested one, the Zigazay derby, which isn't terrible to be fair.
I'll take that. Yeah, we can take that. And then what's the what's the last fixture? The game that could decide people's fates.
Oh,
Alice could end Mozza's dreams, or Mozza could end Alice's dreams. G Muzza and Viking Dan, Goofy Jordan, Stinger. I mean, you know what? The more I'm watching this, the more I don't want to be in Group A. Really, because I think this is going to be tight, really, really tight. Group B, Curti versus GYR. That's, yeah. Diz versus Limo. I want to be in there just having a pint. That sounds like a proper hangout, that match.
If Limo's coming from a barbecue, I've played Limo after a hangover, and it's great fun. I'd love to be Diz in this spot.
Yeah, Limo Land will be in full swing at this point.
I was
And
going to
then
say it's probably
Sweet-
woken up by this stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be sitting there going, why have I got so many Liverpool players?
What have I done?
Yeah. And then Sweet Left Foot and Bust the Net. Alice has
That's
put in
gonna
the
go
chat,
on a
"I've
while,
ended
isn't it?"
Mozza's dreams before. So there you go. There's, again, another T-shirt slogan.
I think I'm looking at Group B, and I can't figure out who gets out of Group B. I think there's
I
a
haven't
clear,
a notion.
there's a reasonably clear 4, maybe 5 in Group A. But yeah, Group B, I'm not sure about because it's very strange fixtures. And I think it all depends on the fatigue and injuries that people have got in these later fixtures. I mean, some of these players that have been picked up might not even make it past game week 1.
But that's the thing, you know, some of you, not all of us, some of you, you know, suggested Mr. Diz had a terrible draft. All of a sudden, he might not be having as bad a time as was predicted earlier.
Mm.
I think that's probably where you need to calm down, Tony. He's got Spinazzola in his squad. I mean, that's one of the people that's going to get injured straight
And
away.
he's
Only
got
for- only
he's
for
got
20
the
minutes.
aircraft he has.
Yeah.
But he might be back for the final game. He'll have missed all of the tournament, but he might be back for that one. He's doing the editing on the scouting centre, so it's
Oh, okay.
If it's an evening kickoff, Camavinga and Bellingham will be in bed.
that's why Mark Noble's there to make sure they go to sleep. He's got to read them a
He's the
story.
chaperone. Yeah.
Jude Bellingham's called him dad once before, and everyone's looked at him going,
The idea of Mark Noble reading the story, I don't know, just is hilarious to me.
yeah, Mark Noble drives the bus.
Yeah. No, that's Limo's doing Thomas Tuchel thing. He's driving the bus like Thomas Tuchel. That's why he got all the lads from the estate to play in his team.
He's suggesting that Limo's squad has been funded illegally, and therefore he's had all of his assets taken away.
I mean, think about it. Think about it. He always wears throwback Ray-Bans when he's having a rave all the time. It starts adding up quick.
God.
I'm on to you, Limo.
I mean, on that note, I think we have to start getting some predictions, really, don't we? And then we'll start look to raid off. I think we'll go to you first, Hood. Who are you backing, and who are you sending home?
I mean, is this going to come as a surprise to you as to who I'm sending home?
I don't think either of these two are going to be a surprise to us. to be
No,
honest.
no, that's a very good point. Backing GYR as always. He's my guy, and sorry, Alice, you're going home.
Oh, God, the hate.
Owen, can you do any better than that, or can you do different to that? I should say. Sorry.
Well, I kind of alluded to it when I was talking about him, but I am all in on Mazza's draft. The only thing that can stop Mazza winning this is Mazza himself. But I think he learned a lot of lessons. He saw it in the last draft. He stuck with a hard in a hard place, stuck with his tactic, and ended up beating Goofy George. So I think he's learned a lot from that. For me, I think I think I've actually changed my opinion. I was going to put Diz in here as definitely going home. I think Bustanet, the more I look at his team, is probably the one that's going to finish bottom. Potentially at a risk of setting an impressively low record of points to match myself and Tony.
I mean, that would be something, right? I mean, me and Dalgit actually tied. I think it was goal difference that separated us the first time we played. That's how bad it was, and it was
He's
like
coming for your record.
yeah. Like, I think I scored a goal and he scored 2 goals. So that was the swing.
Yeah, I think that's it. I actually think I said it a couple times. I fancy FM Girl starting Andy Carroll to push for qualification, even starting Dele Alli. I reckon it's my mad prediction. Not putting any subs on that.
Okay, interesting. Jebaru, bring it home. Who you thinking?
I really upset him last time. I'm not talking about yesterday. I'm talking about last time we did the draft out. GYR. I think this might be GYR's tournament. I think he's drafted really well. He's got all of the tactics, but he knows what he's going to do, and I think he's got a solid squad that can do it. And I think the way the group signed up for him, there's easy wins for him to get out of there. But he only came up against Viking Dan last time, and I think he got a draw out of him. Then obviously the semis didn't go too well for him, but I think this time might be the return of GYR to the final and probably winning it. Going home, I think because of Dizzy's group, he might get a win somewhere, but I think I think it's Alice, unfortunately. I think as much as I love Andy Carroll. Let's see.
I mean, it's not my place really to say this, but I think the sexist card has to be played here at some point, lads. Surely, no. Wow.
I'm not sending Alice home. I know it's an easy target, right? It's an easy target. I think I'm probably with yourself, Owen. I think Dalgit might struggle. I really do. I think we've got a time difference. Depends how much whiskey he's had. Even he's not sure about his own draft himself. And I've got to stand by my belief that I think Foden is a fraud. So unfortunately, as much as I love Dalgit, I'm going to have to stand by that. And yeah, I think maybe Dalgit's not going to make it. And in terms of who I think he'll win, I'm going to back the boss. I'm going to back the gaffer, Mozza. You've got to do it this time, otherwise you can't come back. You genuinely can't come back. Like
we're making that 38% win rate 34%. That's the plan.
Yeah, I'm backing you to turn it around, right, and get it done. Okay, you've got Olivier Giroud, so give it to me. Give it to me. Olivier Giroud is gonna do it. Yeah.
100%. I'm there. I'm there for it. Himself and more proud. So now what the rest of them do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Maybe so.
Maybe. I'll tell you what. Let's do then a bit of a. You can find us at such and such, and therefore respond to our comments on Sunday evening. Jebaru, where can people find you on Twitter and Twitch? Do you want to plug yourself?
You can find me at the Jebaru on Twitter and Instagram, and then Jebaru on Twitch. Pretty much about it. I'll be behind the scenes on Sunday.
Wonderful stuff. Current save?
Current save still Bournemouth. I think it's my only save, unfortunately, with timing and various other things. Hopefully return to streaming that. Might be doing a network save with some friends soon. Who knows? We'll see.
Excellent. Lovely. Owen, where can people find yourself?
You can find me all across the internet at How We Roll On. I'm on Twitter with that. I'm on Twitch, currently playing as my beloved Treaty United. We're trying to do a Build a Nation in Ireland. It's going reasonably well in that I was discussing in the last stream about how early I'd win the league, and I lost it on the last day of the season. Despite having comfortably... We were talking about winning it before game 30 at one point. We were 16 points ahead. We lost it on the last day of the season.
Oh, not even Murph FM bottles the league that bad. Jesus.
It was so bad. We sold some of our players to make money halfway through. Like, this is why we don't need it. And it just all went pot. We're in the Champions League group stage.
Why did you let Tony take over?
It was a bold choice, wasn't it?
I subs to Tony, and it just happened like very quickly after. It's amazing.
It sounded a lot like, you know, when like your parents go, if you two don't shut up, I'll turn this car around. You did that with the league title.
It was a 3-hour stream. Like, it was gonna be so funny if I bottled this. Imagine if I bottled this, and then slowly this is into the madness. We goals disallowed and everything the last game. So yeah, that's what I do. You can also find me at How We Roll Podcast if you want to be a different kind of nerd and do tabletop RPGs like D&D and stuff. So that's me.
Awesome, wonderful stuff. So yeah, we'll be sure to follow Owen. Hood, where can we find yourself?
Hood Gaming UK, Twitter, and YouTube as I stream over on the Red brand, not here. I'm an imposter on the FM playoffs, drafts and crafts. So yes, YouTube for me.
Everyone welcome. It's fine, even if you're a YouTuber.
I know, right? I know. Yeah, I know. What can I say? What can I say?
Hey, gotta do it, man. Gotta do it. I'd say we'll have you on next month as well, so that'll be brilliant. You can find myself, which is at Tony Jameson on Twitter. It's Tony Jameson FM on Twitch. Currently doing a few bits and pieces. We'll do a thing called the Story Hunter because, like Owen, I can't win trophies, so I have to invent narrative plot points instead to gauge success. So we're doing that. We also have some stuff with Odds Battle Club over in Norway. And you might not know, I have a podcast. I'm going to plug a podcast called Football Manager Therapy. Now, it's myself and the very, very funny Rich Owens. It's out every single Tuesday on all your podcast platforms and YouTube as well now. So again, follow that. It's youtube.com/Football Manager Therapy. Also, make sure you follow the FM Playoffs channel both here and on Twitter. You'll get all of the information leading up to the actual show on Sunday, which kicks off at 1 o'clock. We can't wait for it. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Tell everyone, come in and hang out in the chat and watch some fantastic games being thrown down. Alistair's going to be hosting. I'm going to be on the panel. Owen's going to be on the panel as well. And we've got the United City FM as well. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. So what we're going to do now is say thank you very much to everyone who's helped put this show together. Obviously, a wonderful panel. Everyone who's worked behind the scenes to make this happen as well. You've all been absolutely fantastic. And we are going to raid over to Alistair, who is currently about to, he says, time for the title with Stoke City. I don't believe it personally, but let's go drop in, give everyone a big shout out and waves and all that sort of stuff. And we'll see you all there. So thank you very, very much for being part of the show. Take it easy and we'll see you soon. All the best. And we'll keep waving till we know we're definitely cut.
I think we're gone.